Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Hey, I think this is working, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
You need to get some feedback, man, because we went live on Robert's show with these mics, and it was all messed up.
I think this time it works. Does it sound good?
Hey, check.
Does it sound
Hey, can we get some feedback? Check. Is this working? Check.
Does it sound good?
Check.
Does it sound good or what?
You got to do this. You got to go check. Yo.
Does it sound good or what? Okay, louder, please. Together forever. Sound muffled. What the hell?
Is it?
Hello.
No, they're saying
Hello.
it's good. It's good. They're saying it's good.
Sound perfect? What the heck?
Hey, check. No, they said David a little muffled. You hearing me through this?
Together forever. I think everything should be fine, man.
People are saying David muffled, but I can't tell if I can trust people or not.
You can't trust people nowadays, man.
It says, nope, Daniel says you sound the same. Some people say little soft.
You are soft. You are soft. Anyway,
hang on. You sure I'm not, it's not picking me up through your mic? What's going on here?
I do not know.
Okay, there's one way to test. I'm gonna walk to the other side of the room.
Okay.
And then tell me if you can hear me.
We will be sitting here as we witness David experiment and come up with a new method of testing things. David will be walking to the other side of the room. David will be talking in a little bit. David
All right,
will
ladies
say
and gentlemen, I am currently on the other side of the room. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Yes or no?
Is this audible? Can you hear David very well?
Check one. Do you hear me? Sibilance.
Yes, you can hear. Yes, everyone can hear you as if you were right here. That is fantastic. That is awesome.
Then why are they saying I'm muffled?
I don't know why they're saying this. I think they're trolling us.
It was like 18 people saying.
Well, if they're 18, then I want to see the 19th person. All right, so everything sounds perfect, I guess. Everything sounds.
Wait a minute, I can just listen to myself on my laptop. Find out who's lying. Just so you know, anyone lying is getting banned.
Oh, good. So what you need to do is, David, you need to take this microphone, then go like this.
What?
Stick it right in front of your nose and speak like that. That's what you need to do.
Check, yo, check, yo.
So anyway, nobody cares about the sound issues. What's important is that we are live. What's important is that we're live. Apparently,
find out who's lying. Just so you know, anyone lying is getting banned. Okay. Hey, I sounded fine, man. Bunch of liars from lying liar.
I think, to my understanding, when you sit right next to me, you sound actually worse or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, is that possible?
Possible. I don't know why, but that's what I'm gathering here from my observations that I have here. But anyway, nobody cares. So, we are together today because David came to visit me, to be here for a few days, because I am supposed to, I will be getting baptized this Sunday, and the entire family is getting baptized. So the kids are getting baptized.
Dude, that's straight biblical, man.
Yes.
Except they didn't wait like 17 years and stuff like that, like you guys do. I'm saying in the book of Acts, a dude was like, hey, let's all get baptized. Whole family.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So it's not just me. It's that I get baptized, my family gets baptized, the kids get baptized, my wife gets baptized or chrismated and stuff, and we join the church, and we officially develop and evolve from charismatic-lated or chrismated, and then
don't make up words, dude.
So we evolve from cat humans to tiger humans. Also known as Orthodox. So Orthodox Christians, that's what we do. That's what we become. So I will be officially a Christian part of the church at the end of this week or at the beginning of next week, and will be finally officially taking my first, doing my first liturgy as an actual real Christian, because I was never a real Christian to begin with. So I will officially enter the church, and also will take communion for the first time. So this is going to be, I'm very, very excited about this. I'm a little bit nervous about this as well, because the entire time I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I can do this. It seems like a very big change and all that, but we're finally doing it. Our priest said we'll do it, so we're doing it. We will be doing like a whole prayer in advance of getting baptized, and then we will do the whole baptism. So I will no longer be just a non-Christian or an atheist or agnostic or a seeker or something. It'll just be me becoming an actual Christian. D. Boudreau says, "What are you going to do with all your atheist books and stuff?" Well, atheist books are obviously not allowed if you're a Christian. They're haram. So I will have to burn them. What kind of a question is this, D? I will be keeping them, of course. I'll be keeping all the books that I have. That's what I'll be doing. That's what I'll be doing. Zagros says, "Prove it." This is an obvious reference to mental hunting. Yeah. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it. You're happier. Prove it. Mark White, question: AP, are you born again? When people ask this, is it generally safe to assume that they are Baptists? Is that how it works?
I mean, it's straight out of the Bible.
I know, but
must be born again. But yes, if you are being asked about your Christianity that way, yeah, normally, no, not necessarily a Protestant, like evangelical Christian, somewhere in there.
I see. Yeah, because
yeah, and the people who actually focus on the Bible, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Powerful. I mean, here's the thing. According to by the tradition, it is the priest or one's spiritual father who is basically in charge of deciding when you are ready biblically and when you are not, and he's then the one who gives the approval and says, "Okay, you're ready to be baptized. You're ready to get baptized."
You're not ready.
And
you're so weak.
That would be if Alidawa was my spiritual father, but
you're not ready to be baptized until you talk like a leprechaun, yeah.
But so if he decides that I'm ready, then I am ready, because he will decide based on things that I will, based on whatever he sees, based on what what he observes in us, based on how we pray, how we receive things in studies, how we respond to things that he says, and so on. So that's usually how it goes. So it's therefore generally safe to assume that if you have a proper priest, that when he decides that you're ready, then you are ready and you meet the things required of one. So that means that he asked me fundamental things about my Christian beliefs and all that, you know. So I haven't publicly said most of what I said to my priest about what I believe and what I have problems with, what I don't have problems with, and so on. And he decided we are ready. So yeah.
Hammerson said, "Are we allowed to get tattoos, David?" I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Huh?
The funny thing is, I think the Orthodox Church actually kind of has a problem with tattoos.
Yeah, they have a problem with Copts.
No, the Orthodox Church normally does this whole thing, like anything that is kind of I don't know what's the term. My wife might remind me of that. But anything that is kind of contrary to the natural thing of the body is usually not considered appropriate. But if you generally have a tattoo and you come with it into the church, then that's fine. Yeah. But what they just do is after you get baptized, they like wherever you have a tattoo, they cut that part off your body and then you get baptized. Yeah, that's what happens. My wife's a Russian Orthodox service in Russian. Powerful. They're powerful. V, been watching you guys for about a year, so seeing you two together is so weird. LOL. Congrats, your baptism, AP. God bless you, your family, David. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We've been together before on camera. usually when I visited David, this is the first time that he visited me. It's like, I had to convince him. I was like, I'm not going to come to your place. You have to come to my place. I am more famous than you. Why would I come to your place? And I said, come on, man, just once. I'm getting baptized. He was like, okay, you have to pay me $5,000 then. I said, fine, okay. So that's what we did. The wood looks skinny. Powerful, powerful. So, David, thank you, Elegance with Grace. I'm genuinely happy for you, AP. I can't stop smiling. Thank you. This means a lot to me. I mean, David, you haven't been to my home before.
That's true.
But you can probably tell that when you came to our house, our home, you've probably seen that things are very different from what I would have been a long time ago. Right?
What do you mean? Because the whole house is covered in Christian icons?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
For example, yeah.
You can't go anywhere. Can't go anywhere without some saint staring you in the face.
No, where things have changed really, really a lot. And I mean, I feel very different. I was constantly depressed and all that. Now I'm genuinely smiling all the time as well. So, you know, I'm very happy about this. Very, very happy about this. Dobromir, good piece. Of all the months, they chose Pride Month to break up. I know, man, this is kind of messed up. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they decided to choose Pride. Maybe they're sending a message that way, you know. Two men breaking up on Pride Month.
Yeah, because Elon had tweeted that he loves Trump as much as it's possible to love a man without being gay or something like that. And so maybe that, like, maybe people are like, well, maybe you are gay. And he's like, well, fine, then I'll break up during Pride Month.
That is true. Elon Musk did say that, right? Love Donald Trump, man. Let me see. I took screenshots earlier, but I forgot to transfer them over. So, from romance to breakup, says the media. That's funny. He said in the past, I love Donald Trump more than as much as a straight man can love another man. That sounds pretty gay, man. Even if you say it like that, sounds pretty gay, doesn't it? It's like the gayest straight thing that you could say.
It's like, oh, I love every part of him. I want to marry him, but not in a gay way.
I love to marry him, but as a straight person, not gay. Oh, there it is. I found the tweet. Okay, good.
I want to French kiss him, but not in a gay way.
Only in a straight way. Only in a straight way, man. Don't misunderstand me. You see, you know what I'm saying. You get me. So here it is. He said, I love real Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man. That's what he said in February. So, yeah.
Hey, how's this work with all the different monitors? You just plug in a different monitor and then it works?
Pretty much. David was surprised because I have like 4 monitors here.
Yeah, you have 1, 2, 4 monitors. Huh. Yeah.
That's how I function. I can't function. Well, I had 3 monitors at some point, but I thought, man, I can't do this, man. I need another monitor.
Yeah. Well, I just have one big monitor in front of me when I'm doing live streams, and then I have my laptop off to the side so I can, like, which is just open to the regular live stream, so I can see it. But it is all cluttered up, so it would help to have multiple things. But I've never like hooked up multiple monitors.
Powerful. Elon Musk has been going crazy about this kind of stuff.
Now, he does tend to dial things up pretty quickly.
So here's what happened. It started out with, so the bill that is being introduced, the big, beautiful bill, which, by the way, a conspiracy theory time, BBB. When Joe Biden was running and started out, it's like Build Back Better. That was considered like a big conspiracy theory.
Huh.
And then Donald Trump introduced a big, beautiful bill, which is also BBB. What if they're all in on it? They're trying to establish the new world order or something like that.
So it could be sending out signals and stuff.
Yeah. So anyway,
would have been funny though if he'd made it like the big based beautiful bill, and he's like, see, we have one extra B, we have one more B than Biden could come up with. Why? Because he's in cognitive decline. Sad, sad. But he couldn't get to the 4Bs. If only I could get to the 4Bs.
Some guy earlier said that if only Joe Biden could witness what's going on right now. I saw that
You said that.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Dirtbag.
Sorry, yeah, sorry, that was me. I found it very funny, but it was actually me. So here's the thing. Now there is one way of writing BBB. I guess
You
if
just
I
got
want
this randomly playing on your screen?
yes. Well, there's one way of writing BBB, which is this, like BBB.
Mhm.
And then there's another way of writing BBB. Which is this. You see? What does this mean?
Oh, 666.
What does this mean? You see? If I wanted to be
I thought it was supposed to be like three big booty girls stick figures, but then I saw the
if I wanted to be a crazy conspiracy theorist, I would be like, you see what's going on? You see what Trump is doing right
what
now?
is doing? Everyone is sending out signals.
What is Trump doing with this? What did he mean with this? So anyway, that's what's happening. Sakes. Yeah. So it started with the whole bill, and Elon Musk said this is a terrible bill. Shame on those who voted for it. And then Donald Trump, I guess, said gave a press release and said, "I'm very disappointed in Elon. I loved Elon. I don't know what happened. He saw the bill."
Yeah. So for people who may be in other parts of the world who haven't been paying attention, Trump announced while he was campaigning that if he's elected, he would have Elon Musk in charge of a Department of Government Efficiency to cut out all the waste and so on. Now that actually interested me because for years, and I said this like a long time ago. For years, it's always been in my mind, it really doesn't matter who's winning these elections if whoever wins runs up the debt trillions of dollars. Like you're doomed. You are already doomed if you guys do not deal with that one problem. It doesn't matter. It's like you just keep borrowing trillions of dollars and then you have to spend more of your GDP every year on just paying interest to other nations who loaned you the money, and you eventually get to a situation where future generations are going to be paying 70 or 80% of everything they make just to pay the interest on all the money you've taken. And these people didn't even do it, right? These are going to be people who had nothing to do with that. It's their grandparents who ran up all this debt, and they're going to be stuck with it. And that's just extremely messed up. Like you are dooming your country to future failure. You cannot sustain that. And so in my mind, it's like, who cares? Republican, Democrat, maybe one side does a little bit better. But whoever gets elected is running up trillions of dollars of debt. So you're screwed no matter what. Who cares? You're doomed. So actually hearing that someone may try to do something about it, found that interesting. With that said, didn't think it was going to work. Why? Because if everyone in Congress has got their little side projects that they're all getting paid from, you're not going to get away with it. You're not going to get away with it. You're going to run into too much opposition and so on. Then Trump got elected. Elon started coming in there, slashing things, finding all this corruption, finding all this money that they can't even account for, and so on. And so, maybe he's actually going to pull something off. Then Elon leaves right after Trump comes out with his big-based, beautiful bill. And then, so what's going on there? Was Elon concerned because it was having too much of a negative backlash on his company and so on? Too many people mad at him, people torching Teslas and stuff like that. Is he saying, hey, it's not worth it, it's gonna ruin me? Looks like what it was is Elon's going, hey, I thought we were slashing stuff and you're running up the debt trillions of dollars with this. Now keep in mind, not sure about that. It's kind of theoretical. The idea is, yes, this is a lot of money here, but it's going to improve the economy so much that it's going to outweigh the cost. So it's not going to run up the debt. And other people are saying, well, that kind of depends on how much this boosts the economy. If if it doesn't boost it a lot, you're actually going to be running up a lot more debt and so on. So looks like they parted ways over that. He's like, hey, I'm not going to be part of your Department of Government Efficiency if you're going through with this. And Trump's like, well, let's just keep it quiet. Let's just keep it quiet. And so Elon, so they part ways. And then people are asked, hey, you know, what's up with Elon and stuff? And Trump starts talking some Trump starts saying, oh, Elon knew about this, don't know what's going on, thought he was a good guy. That's the way things were a couple days ago, and then things got dialed up. I don't know where you want to where you want me to stop, because you're going to cover stuff.
Well, it comes to this. As a response to all of that, Donald Trump said the following words.
But if they picked him, I would have won Pennsylvania. I won it by a lot. But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars. And it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric. We don't understand that. But he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew
every aspect of this bill. Elon knew every aspect of this bill, and I'm very disappointed. And so on, to which Elon Musk then said, this is a lie. You're lying.
Mm-hmm.
You're a liar. You're a liar. In fact, that happened right here. Where is it? Let's go back. Let's go back here. So, what a waste by our president. Where was I here? Right here.
You didn't find it.
Here.
Oh, there we go.
False. This bill was never shown to me even once, and it was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it. That's what he said. So, Trump's allegation is that Elon knew about it. Elon says no. Nobody could even read it before it was passed. And then next thing that happened was that so Elon kept criticizing Trump. Then Donald Trump said the following words.
Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. Asked him to be the best of leavers. Took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. The next one?
Yeah.
The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars. It'll save the economy, frankly, is to terminate Elon's government subsidies and contracts, to just get rid of Tesla. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. This Elon guy, we've always hated him, couldn't stand him. Total loser. Let's send him back to South Africa where he belongs.
And upon that, Elon Musk then said, how dare you? So Elon Musk then dropped a massive bomb.
You talking about today?
Yes.
Yeah, well, he went nuclear.
And then said the following. The hell with this guy never stops tweeting.
Yeah, like you try to find a tweet from Elon. There's like 7,000 you have to go through. The man loves to tweet.
So it's obvious. Like, oh yeah, here. Time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump.
Hey, there's community notes.
111 million views.
111,814,000 likes. Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. Now that's interesting. The truth will come out because people have pointed out. People have already been familiar that Trump was like listed on like one flight log or something like this, right?
Yeah. The thing is,
so that I would say that doesn't prove anything. That could have been someone who went to the island and just hung out and came back, or went there, found out what's going on. Like, I don't want anything to do with this. But it sounds like he's saying there's something more. There's something significantly more to it, right? Like,
I mean, that's what it sounds like, because so people have been saying, oh, we already know that his name is in the files. Okay, yeah, but if Elon is saying that Trump is in the Epstein files, this is why he's not making it public. What he's implying here is that there is more to it in the files, which is what he's trying to prevent from becoming public. That's what he's saying here. So if he later comes and says, "Oh yeah, no, he is in the files, and the files just say that he actually, that he actually was on a flight," that would be that would be ridiculous. I'm pretty sure that he also can't really make that excuse if he gets sued for this allegation here. So
it sounds like he's saying there's something in there that you guys don't know about. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
If he's just saying he's in there on a flight log, doesn't seem like that would be as weird to say, trump card that he's pulling.
Yeah. So that's what he said, and things are just getting really messed up. As a result of this, Elon keeps doubling down and keeps saying stuff, and now he's even posting or reposting videos like this one here.
Shot in November show. We're going to get Epstein. Trump is seen talking to Epstein.
Old videos of Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. But the thing is, and there's just one very obvious question that comes to my mind immediately, and that one has to ask when Elon does this kind of stuff. When he suddenly shares now these videos of Donald Trump many decades, years ago, interacting with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, it's not like he just found out about this, right? He knew this all the time. He knew this the entire time. He worked together with Donald Trump despite all of this. He continued working with Donald Trump despite allegedly knowing that there is more to Donald Trump in the files, which Donald Trump refuses to make public. So Elon Musk, if there is more to this at all, or if he has such a problem with the things that he's posting right now, he knew all of this long before they fell out. So it's kind of a weird thing to do.
It's a dilemma. Yeah. So Elon's got a dilemma on his hands. Namely, if this is something small, if it's just like the flight log or something like that, then why is he bringing it up as if it's he's some whistleblowing, it's some massive bombshell, and he's the whistleblower and he's exposing Trump? In other words, if it's something very insignificant, then he's messed up for acting and pretending like it's this huge issue. On the other hand, if it is this big issue, if Trump was down there doing all sorts of things with teenage girls, and this is in the files and stuff like that, because keep in mind, guys, people have had access to the flight logs because they're flight logs, right? Epstein was also recording people doing all sorts of there's all sorts of stuff that's in the files that people don't have access to, and so on. So if it's something big, then the bigger and more messed up it is, the more of a problem there is with Elon, as AP's pointing out. Like, if he knows that Trump's doing all this stuff, but he's still, working with him and buddying up with him and hanging out with them, with his family and stuff like that, then that would kind of be messed up. So if it's something insignificant, why are you even bringing it up? It's kind of a dirtbag move. If it's something huge, well, you were the guy, working with him. So how long did you know about this stuff?
That's true. That's true. And the video also doesn't show anything bad. So it just shows hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. We also have photos of Elon Musk posing with that woman who worked with Jeffrey Epstein. So yeah, what do you think about all this, David?
Don't know. It basically wouldn't be surprising to me either way, right?
Well, if you don't know, then don't say anything.
Historically, and I've seen Trump interviewed on this stuff in the past, like even before he was like running for president, where he could kind of be like the rich playboy type. He was saying he's always been interested in like 25-year-old really hot models, right? But he said he's always been attracted to women right around 25 and so on. So it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't do anything on Epstein's island, because he didn't have there was no shortage of 25-year-old hot models for Trump to do stuff with. He didn't need Jeffrey Epstein to do any of that stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if Trump had nothing to do with Epstein Island or not there, but it also wouldn't surprise me if he did, because I mean, people do all sorts of weird, creepy stuff when they have the ability to. So, no idea either way. Nothing would surprise me at this point.
There is this one thing which Elon Musk quote tweeted, but I mean, he should have known this before. There's this one report where it says, Epstein likes to tell people that he's a loner, a man who has never touched alcohol or drugs, and one whose nightlife is far from energetic. And yet, if you talk to Donald Trump, a different Epstein emerges. I have known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy. Trump booms from a speakerphone. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. and many of them are on the younger side. Yeah. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. So
many of them are on the younger side, not of course as young as Prophet Muhammad liked him, but you know.
yeah, pretty weird statements to make. But none of this. So
Hey.
as much as this kind of stuff is going on, none of this compares to Muhammad's relationship with Aisha or the Al-Zud.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, who'd want to go to Al-Zud Island? That'd be the real, that'd be a real concern. And if Elon tweeted, just found out that Muhammad, I mean, Donald Trump went to Al-Zud Island like Muhammad. I have the proof.
Yeah. Anyway, though that's that. The thing is, this is not some small disagreement or some little fight or something. This is like the guy. I mean, Elon Musk was part of the government. I mean, he had a temporary position, but he was part of the government. He had a say over many other members of government. He was directly in the White House. He was side by side with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the leader of this nation, of the strongest nation in the world, the best nation in the world. And these two guys suddenly start brutally fighting, and Elon just dials it up to whatever and basically says that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files and therefore guilty and so on. It's like, this is insane, man.
Yeah, and I have to again the only glimmer of confidence I had in the current government, because guys, all the issues that keep in mind, I'm not saying nothing else is important. I'm saying long term, all the issues that people focus on, like this or that, like trans people competing against biological girls and so on, all those kinds of issues, it's kind of irrelevant in the grand scheme of things if your nation eventually crumbles, if your nation falls apart. Again, it's these issues can still be significant and so on, but if you vote for this person and your nation is still going to be destroyed, and you vote for this person and your nation's still going to be destroyed, okay, either way your nation's still going to be destroyed, and therefore, okay, I don't put a lot of I don't have a lot of confidence in what the government is going to do, because they're just leading us to destruction. And so kind of had a brief glimmer that someone may actually deal with this important issue, and it didn't. Again, I pointed out, I said I didn't think it would actually work, but I didn't expect it to like melt down like this, right? I figured like all kinds of people who are milking the system would toss all these monkey wrenches into fixing it, and didn't expect it to just be a meltdown like this. But we're back to doom. We're doomed, ladies and gentlemen.
The other issue is also that Elon Musk made this tweet, which he pinned to his profile, which is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents 80% in the middle? The poll is just yes and no. 3,290,000 people have voted in this. 81% voted yes. 19% voted no. So there's a huge amount of people on here. Of course, this doesn't necessarily say much about what the general public in America actually thinks, but this is kind of an interesting thing that Elon Musk is doing here, where he is implying, I guess, with this, that not only is it time to have a different political party, a third party in America, I guess, as you were also saying before, he might be hinting that he himself wants to go into politics, into a different new political party.
He could. He has the money. You can create. I mean, you can create a new political party. That's easy to do. It's hard to actually make it work. Historically, you got the two-party system, right? You got a two-party system. So you have these two parties and they're in conflict. Usually what happens when you get a third party is that third party is closer to one side or the other, right? In other words, they're closer to, and those two parties have differed over the years. But right now it's Republicans and Democrats. And historically what happens is if you get a third party in there, that party is actually closer to the Democratic Party or closer to the Republican Party. And whichever side it's closer to, then the votes that new party is getting is taking away, is splitting the vote in whatever party it's closer to, and therefore the opposition wins. That's why it doesn't work. So you come up with another party, you're actually closer to this party, the other party wins. So you didn't get elected, and you actually kept the party that you're closer to from getting elected. And then it just doesn't work, and so on. So yeah, if you need a huge pile of money to even stand a chance of making it successful. Elon does that. You'd also need like complete lack of confidence in at least one of the current parties, if not both. Fortunately, he does have that going for him. I mean, like the Democratic Party has been imploding, and you have lots of people who are sick of the whole system and so on. And so, I mean, if it was ever going to work, it would kind of be now. With that said, that would be pretty surprising if someone actually pulled it off.
One thing brought up by Sifa Fifa is, can it all be a distraction? I think it could be a distraction from like an organized and arranged systematic distraction, specifically arranged in order to distract people from the Al-Zut topic. Considering that the Al-Zut video that David Wood made here, for example, has 740,000 views and is on its way to soon reach 1 million views. It could be that they're trying to distract from this.
Yeah, and again, as I've mentioned, everyone, there will be more videos on these extremely sensitive issues in the Muslim sources that have not become popular yet, and we're going to make them popular. So when that hits 1 million, we'll either be talking about whether Muhammad was a necrophile who had sex with his dead aunt, or revisiting the issue of Muhammad dressing up in Aisha's clothes, but actually bringing all the sources out and so on and going through them with giant DOC translating them and so on. There's all sorts of really messed up, creepy stuff in there, ladies and gentlemen. Really messed up stuff. On the issue of whether it's a distraction. So the idea here is it's like staged, right? Like these guys are staging this to distract. Now, I think that's improbable because just the way they're dialing things up seems to line up pretty well with both their personality types and so on. I would say if anyone were pulling a stunt right now, it would be Trump, because we talked about this before. I suspected that during his launch of Zutcoin. That's funny. Let's screenshot that. I want to do that. Can anyone launch a coin? Because we can make a Zutcoin.
I think it needs significant investment.
That would be funny. That would be funny.
But meme coins are popular things.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. If that can be done, we will get it done. Everyone is going to want a Zutcoin. Everyone's going to want a Zutcoin. But anyway, I pointed out that during his first presidency, Trump doing something that enraged the media and everyone's talking about that seemed to coincide with people trying to push through some legislation. Then everyone's talking about this horrible thing that Trump said, and meanwhile legislation's being passed and no one's talking about it because everyone's focusing on what Trump is doing. And so if this were ever going to be just a staged shenanigan to keep people from paying attention to something else, then that could be. With that said, I mean, they already did the bill. So if this had happened like right before the bill or something like that, then maybe. But like, put it this way: what's going to come out in the next week that's being pushed through that you wouldn't be able to do, that you wouldn't want the media focusing on because you want them focusing on something else? There'd have to be something like that for this to be believable. Zutcoin.
The Zutcoin. It has a good ring to it.
It does. It sounds cooler than Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We'll make Zutcoin and Buttcoin.
And the symbol to it, which is just Zut. So you can find it on all markets, on all crypto markets, under the name Zut.
We can use my thumbnail with all those dudes standing around Muhammad.
Yeah,
that can be the Zutcoin.
The Zutcoin. That's very good, man. That's pretty good. Better than Trump coin, definitely. Better than Trump coin. Trump needs to challenge Elon to move.
That would be funny.
That'll be very good.
I'll probably tweet that later.
Trump, I challenge you to Elon. I challenge you to Mubala. Apple Baker, Apple Daddy, your analysis from a few months ago, spot on, dude. That time it was in relation to the Daily Wire, but it applies here. Alpha type A egos clash.
Oh, I said that years ago about the Daily Wire. I just brought it up again, and I was saying it years before that. But yeah, so
No, it's just
quick version, ladies and gentlemen. You have people. Matter of fact, we just talked about it with you and Jay Dyer. They're like, we disagreed on this, and then we both started attacking each other and stuff. And I was saying that's normal for certain personality types. That's why I said I was surprised that it was working with the Daily Wire, because they all seem like people who, as soon as they disagree on anything, are going to dial things up. And I was like, how are you holding things together? So I didn't think it would last, and it didn't last. But yeah, so when you have someone like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, both of those guys are, if you mess with me, I'll go nuclear if I have to. I will escalate and I will go nuclear. And the idea is, if we start attacking each other, I will outlast you. And therefore, it might do some damage to me, but you're not going to win this. And you've got two guys who, one is the president of the United States and the other is the richest man on the planet, right? So these are both guys who think, how could I possibly lose? And they're guys who, through their entire histories, I will dial things up as high as far as I need to go, but you're not gonna take me down, and I'm not gonna back down. So those are the personality types you have right now. Two guys with the same personality type as far as escalating and being willing to take the hits, being willing to take the damage, don't back down. Two of those guys, they just have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of power and influence at their disposal, and so you would expect them to go nuclear if they actually had it out.
That's very, very funny. Very, very funny. Hey, well, wasn't anyway. I'm gonna look at this in a second. Dawa troll. I'm a Dawa. Of course, I'd lie. Powerful. Apple Baker. This Trump-Elon feud is a reminder for us tradcasts, ortho bros, and Bible believers to put aside our ego and pettiness, focus on saving souls from Islam. Chad Winger, the ultimate Dawa destroyer. Hey, they made a profile with your face on it. David Wood, what would you do if you see Mike Winger at AP's baptism?
Well, let's just say a baptism would be added to the schedule, and it would be long-term immersion.
Damn, David looks like a snake from that angel. The Joshi Manning is, congrats, AP. I'm sorry the Al-Zut had to decline your invitation to your baptism. It's okay. It's all right. V, been watching you guys for about a year, so seeing you two together is so weird. I already read it. What's wrong with you? Solomon Lund, AP, does this mean you will now be allowed to partake in the magic Jew blood?
Well, there is no magic Jew blood. Andrew Wilson made fun of it, so there is none.
Yes, I will be. Ashley D, David, what have you stolen from AP's home that you're most excited about? Oh, yeah.
Nothing yet, but still be here for a couple days.
Oh yeah, we can plan it out. Judas is scared of AP. One of us. Happy for you, brother. Congrats and welcome to the family. That doesn't fit into the song. No. Need to work on it.
Gotta fix that.
Thank you. Appreciate that. He's a bombshell. Here's a bombshell. They're on the Al-Zut list.
Trump is on. I need to put that up. I need to tweet that
list.
Yeah. Trump is on the Epstein list, but who's in the Al-Zut file?
The Al-Zut file. Drake 20. Thank you. Ayatollah Khamenei, autism will never win in a beef. Elon's cooked. Said. Sarah F. Who will be the kid's baptismal saint names or personal? I don't know if my wife wants to share that. I'm just gonna leave that up to her. So for now. Ayatollah Khamenei, the Rothschilds founded the big beautiful bill 80 years ago. Oh, that's a good conspiracy theory, man. A Blue is not gay if you don't look them in the eyes. Chad Parsons, if there was anything incriminating, the redacted file would have been released in 2024. Elon, big mad, money cannot buy hearts and minds, Constitution. 6, Nathan Tonning made a super chat of 666 and said the sign of the big beautiful bill. Should have started that. Mother Hulda, David Wood, what's your view on libertarianism? You're sounding like Ron Paul and Dave Smith. P.S. Mike Vinger loves you.
Yeah, when you said libertarianism, I thought you meant libertarianism in philosophy, as far as free will is concerned. But yeah, the libertarian, yeah, I mean, if you ask me what I would prefer, it would kind of be close to libertarianism. But it's never crossed my mind that everyone has to agree with me. So it's not something I would push. I would say, whatever's going on, you have to do something about constantly borrowing trillions of dollars and then handing off the debt to your kids. You're doomed. You are doomed if you're doing that, and we are doing that, and so we're doomed. Not to scare anyone, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, my wife just shared it. So the kids' patron saints will be Saint Anthony the Great and Saint Ephraim, or Ephraim, however you say it.
Hey, did Saint Anthony give himself that name?
No.
Like, can you just call yourself the Great if you want to? Like David the Great?
You should, but he probably didn't. He definitely didn't. Did Muhammad give himself the name Muhammad Boy Toy of Al Zut, or did other people give him that name? I think the Al Zut did.
Okay.
Yeah. Batman Inc. says, so happy that you're all getting baptized and David gets to be there. God bless y'all. Thank you, Batman. Thank you. Thank you. Very, very nice to get such praise from Batman. And my wife, if she wants to, can also share who she takes as patron saint, so I can just share that as well. Gabriel Valencia, AP, what time does Mike Vinger arrive at your place? Well, he will be here just in time for the baptism. Yeah. Joshua Wooden, well, if the USA adopts Sharia, we squash interest, problem solved, right, David Wood? We shall be known hitherto henceforth as the United States of Abdul. Oh, hey, IP.
Islam would solve the problem of debt, because there would, be a massive bloodbath and civil war, and then we wouldn't even be thinking about that anymore.
And we could pay jizya.
Yep.
Could pay jizya. Fatwa, Elon made mad he can't carry out his robot sex bot dystopia. I think that's what it's mostly about. I think he might want to create a third party just about that. Yeah. Batman, David's Trump voice.
Oh, I'm supposed to read this? It was a big... I found out you got to do the hand gestures for some reason. Like, it was a big, beautiful baptism, tremendous. Nobody knows baptisms better than I do. Believe me, some say it was the best baptism they'd ever seen, only because they never saw mine. I don't know. That's what they tell me. That's what I've been hearing. That's the word. That's the word that's going around. Best baptism ever, besides mine. You know who'd be jealous of all this? John the Baptist. John the Baptist wishes he was here to see such a great baptism, but they chopped his head off.
He even got the same name.
They chopped his head off. They won't be chopping my head off. People tried. They tried to take me out, but didn't work. Didn't work. I guess you can say I'm greater than John the Baptist.
You have to play the
I won't say it because I'm humble.
You have to play the instrument. That's what he does.
Is that an accordion?
Yes. As someone with autism, Elon is having an autistic meltdown. It's really rough to watch because I relate so much. Yeah.
Is he autistic, like on the spectrum or something like that?
He is.
That makes sense of a lot. Like being able to just become hyper focused on something, and
he shared it publicly as well that he's on the spectrum, and I think it's kind of obvious. Kind of obvious. The God particle, Elon buys enough congressmen for impeachment. NOS, inshallah. Sahih al-Bukhari 5134 said, God bless you both. Congratulations, AP. May your baptism be a safe and beautiful ceremony. Yeshu al-Azam. Why would it not be safe? You think I'm going to drown while getting baptized?
You said they dunk you 3 times, man.
William Dixon. Wow, AP and David Wood on the stream together. I know we never make live streams together. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, we haven't made a live stream together in like years.
Yeah. Wouldn't the Dems have released anything damning in the Epstein files about Trump before the last 2 elections? Just don't make no sense to me.
That I keep seeing people say that. I'm not buying that. You could have a situation where there's information in there that's damaging to Trump, but massively more damaging to a bunch of people on their side. Like I'm guessing they're put it this way. So Epstein is keeping all these tapes of all these people, and there's all these different people that are in these flight logs. And this guy's known for having cameras recording stuff, so that if he ever gets in trouble, he can get out of the trouble by letting everyone know, hey, I got some stuff on you. So I'm guessing he has tons of stuff on everyone, and that probably no one who's involved wants this stuff released. So I don't think he can say, well, if they had stuff on Trump, they'd release it, especially if all the people on their side are in those files as well. They're probably like, let's all agree that this stuff never comes to light. Let's all agree on that. To get to Elon, he's like, I've seen it. I know what's in there.
You see. Fisherman's Corner says, CTO of a large tech company here. Obvious PR strategy is obvious. The EV mandates were already rejected 6 months ago. Trump is in the files. It was already in court. He's just not one of the suspects. That was already resolved. Yeah, but the thing is, once again, when Elon says that that he didn't release it because he's in the files, that seems to imply that there is more to it than just what we already know. Yeah. So that's the big problem. The big problem. Big problem. But hey, Fisherman's Corner says it's obviously a PR strategy, so problem solved. So
well, I guess we're good to go then. No, guys, again, so you have stuff that's already been available, like flight logs and stuff like that. Then you have, guess what? Epstein had a lot of stuff and apparently kept lots of dirt on lots of people. I'm sure some of that was destroyed by people who didn't want it to ever see the light of day, but I'm guessing there's some really creepy stuff there as well.
That's true. That's very true. But what exactly David Wood Trump himself started as a third party. Powerfully so. Mark H. Baptism this weekend, Constantinople weekend. Well, I did say that once I'm baptized, I'm going to take back Constantinople and take the Hagia Sophia and rededicate it to Christianity. And I think part of my plan is also not to give it to any other country, but to take it for myself and to kind of, lead it from there. The baptism kind of came quicker than I thought. But still, I am going to work on the whole retaking Constantinople once I'm getting baptized. So the promise stands. Songs of Relief, bring back the Whigs and Tories 2028 US. No. OJ NAFTA, Nigerian Christians are dying. Cover it, please. David, why are you not talking about this?
We literally just did on This Week in Jihad.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Last night.
Dimer's friend says, David Wire, when AP rises from the water, a new creation beginning to shed his mortality for the mortality Messiah has for him. 1 Corinthians 15:53.
That whole chapter is the resurrection chapter.
You got to start
the perishable must put on the imperishable.
You got to start a chant. One of us. One of us.
Yeah, how cool would that be if I'm recording and then I start one of us, and the whole Orthodox Church starts going, one of us, we accept him, we accept him.
Yeah, I think they might interrupt the whole liturgy for that and say, yeah, let's just do this.
Why can't that be the liturgy?
Good question. It's because the liturgy has been in place as it is for the longest time. That's why. For 1,600 years at least. So that's that. Bully McGuire, and that's very big in the Orthodox Church to keep things as they were. Bully McGuire, David Wood, and AP. Let's go Zit for Zitcoin. Yeah.
It's Zut for Zutcoin.
Timber, I'm training for a job in Germany, but my fiance, ex-Muslim, Catholic, and rising Islamic nation worry me. Should I retrain international work or bet on Germany's future? What do you think, David? I think Germany is... So the last time that I went to Germany, I honestly thought, my very, very honest thoughts, I went to Germany a while after I went to the UK. When I went to the UK and I went to London, I thought to myself, man, this is very depressing. This place is really... I don't want to say beyond saving, but it's very, very different and very difficult to fix. I wouldn't say the same thing about Germany. Germany is not like that at this stage. It has its problems. It has many big problems with the whole Islamization and sucking up to Islam and all that. But it's not remotely as bad as the UK, for example. I wouldn't be that worried and that pessimistic about Germany, personally.
Yeah, my view, I've been saying this for a long time, but I don't think these nations are ultimately going to become Islamic nations. I think that before that happens, you will get some sort of bloody civil war or something like that, but people will eventually be pushed to where they understand we can't go any further with this. My point has always been, hey, you could have always dealt with this peacefully, and you're pushing it to the point where you're not going to be able to deal with it peacefully, and so you're going to get a bloodbath. So my focus has been, okay, why don't you avoid the bloodbath and deal with it peacefully while you still have the opportunity, because you're going to get to a point where you can't deal with it in any other way than some huge bloodbath. So with that said, these nations are getting to the point where you'd have to do something extreme to deal with the issue. And I think they will. It's just that with Germany, I think the Germans are quicker to go to extremes if they need to, right? They'll do that. They'll probably do that before the British, and definitely before the French, right? In other words, when it comes to massive escalation and bloodbaths or just going in extreme direction, Germans pretty comfortable with that compared to some other people. So I think, yeah, no, I wouldn't necessarily want to be there when it happens, though. So I don't know. Use your own judgment.
Powerfully powerful. I love seeing Dawood with icons right over his shoulder. I know he's planning on taking back a bunch of icons so that he can have more at home with him. Yeah.
Who's this in the hijab?
That is Saint Maria of Paris. She was killed by the Nazis. I talked about her quite a few times before.
Oh yeah,
yeah. She was a Russian nun. She was born in Russia. She was alive during the Russian Revolution, during the Soviet Revolution. She briefly became a mayor, actually, in some southern part of Russia, kind of like a little liberal. But then she was kind of pushed out of her position. And when things became really messed up and went into the communist direction, she left Russia and went to Paris. In Paris, she at some point decided to become a nun, or she was given the advice to become a nun. She became very heavily religious. And she kind of became a nun under the condition that she doesn't have to go to a convent, but that she can like serve the public. And when the World War broke out, she would help people in need. And she started this whole campaign of giving, hosting Jews, helping them escape, and giving Jews fake baptismal certificates to when the Nazis come.
Was she on that wall?
Yeah, she was.
I think I took a picture. I think I took a picture of her.
You probably have a picture of her.
I will. I'm gonna look for it.
I think she's on the Holocaust Memorial Wall as Elisaveta something. That's her actual name.
I will see.
Or it's Maria.
That all sounds familiar. Well, I've heard you talk about it, that it sounds familiar from the pictures I took on that wall, because I was actually reading them while taking the picture.
She was brave. She was in Paris. She would do stuff like just go into places where Jews are held and try to help a few of them escape and go back to her place, and then learn more about them and give them baptismal certificates to save them from the Nazis, to save them from being killed, and so on. And eventually it came out, and the Nazis arrested her and sent her to a concentration camp where she was eventually gassed and murdered.
Elisaveta Skobtsova? Yeah.
Yes.
Mother Mary.
You got a picture of her?
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
So I rolled.
See? Yeah.
See?
She is...
Skobtsova was a Russian Orthodox nun. I thought you're Greek Orthodox now. You're allowed to have this?
It don't matter, man. It's all Orthodox.
In July 1942, she succeeded in smuggling a Jewish family out of the Velodrome d'Hiver, the stadium in Paris where the Nazis had assembled thousands of Jews for deportation. Skoptsova's convent at 77 blah, 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 some French words, became a haven for Jews fleeing the Nazis. The underground helped hundreds of the Jews by providing them with false papers. In February 1943, the Gestapo raided the convent. Mother Marie was sent to the Ravensbrück concentration camp where she died a few days before liberation.
Yeah.
Wow. Based.
She was very, very, very brave and based. Love that stuff.
Isn't it crazy? It's like this, like one of the things that people should always be thinking about. It's like we look back at the people who did stuff like that and we say, wow, that person did something awesome. Why didn't more people do that? And here we are, it's like people won't even speak out if some messed up evil stuff is happening because they don't want to get made fun of and stuff like that. It's like, how do you guys not see how do you guys not see what, like, it's easy to look back at the previous generations and go, oh my goodness, why didn't you make more of a stand? And then like when you have the opportunity to make a stand, it's like, no, people might make fun of me.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Look what it says on her icon. She has a scroll in her hand, I think, and it says
love to the end and without exception.
Yeah. So she was big on that whole thing. I think she has this phrase which is like, when I stand before God, I will not be asked how many this I did, how many that I did, how many prayers I said, and so on. I will be asked, did you love your neighbor as yourself? Did you help those in need, and so on? She was very big on helping those in need and all that. She was, I don't know, fantastic. I didn't know about any of this stuff before I got introduced to the Orthodox Church. And once I found out that, because my impression of the Orthodox Church kind of relied on interactions in the past with Russians and Greek people and Ukrainians, a little bit with the culture there, a little bit with what I know from the history, but I never really looked deeply into the religion, into the faith. But then I saw the online stuff, and the online stuff was really bad. But then once I started finding out about the saints in the Orthodox Church, it all got really, really nice. So, yeah, that's that. Nothing's surprising anymore, AP. Your cam makes you guys look thinner. Unrelated, the Epic City. What do you mean makes you look thinner? What do you mean? Does it make my arm look thinner too? Unrelated, the Epic City equals Zootland. Zootland.
I want to take a picture. The Epic City thing is kind of dying down, but if they try that again, they had all the pictures and said, welcome to Epic City. I'm going to change it to welcome to Zootland.
Zootlandia. AP, sorry if I missed it. Will you be baptized this coming weekend? Waiting for Pentecost. God bless you, gents. Yes. So we are supposed to get baptized in time for Pentecost. So it's going to be, or just for Pentecost. That's what it's supposed to be. And it's kind of very cool. I didn't know much about Pentecost and what it's supposed to signify. I learned over the last months. And it's kind of very, very based and meaningful to be baptized around this time, right? What do you know about Pentecost? What do you know about Pentecost? Judas Iscariot says, David Wire, just send you a pic of Al-Zut coin.
What, where?
Good question. And Sovo made a super chat. Thank you so much. Dawa Troll, will David take the 99 names of Allah Zut plug?
It's right here, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's right behind your head.
Where? Up here?
Well, down there, right behind you on your.
Oh, I see it.
No, a little. The 99 Zut.
Got 99 names, but Al-Zut is one.
Isn't that thing heavy as hell?
It is.
David Wood. What would you do if Mike Winger took Shahada?
I mean, some people, it's like, no matter what you do, you can't get any worse, right? So that would be a situation where like who cares? It's not like you can get any worse.
Yeah. But all the best. Holy Joe, I'm Catholic, but I might write the erotic fan fiction of Momo, Dehya, and the Men of Al-Zud. Also blame you for my introduction to Salman Rushdie.
You too.
You too.
Do you mean the band You Too?
Probably. I think it's about the band You Too. Not sure why.
I'm trying to think. I can't think about any of their.
Do they have a song about Salman Rushdie? I don't know.
Not that I know.
Lilac Flower Days. For a psychopath, Daily Wire is a very good friend, traveling to support his friend for baptisms and debates.
Psychopaths are always very good friends.
Powerful. Yeah. That's what happens. The Prophet Allah Vergu says, speaking of nuclear, help support Israel by ordering an arts box.
Drop out Zitcoin and type in "oh good" for a discount, so they know David sent you.
I guess this is a play on how you tie in your arts box advertisements.
That's funny.
Jesus saves and
it would have been funny to put it in the middle of an Al Zut video. But use it as a threat. Like if you don't order an arts box, the men of Al Zut are going to visit you.
Jesus saves says, narrated Ibn Kashov from Sahih McQueen. Muhammad is like a highway. Al Zut gonna ride him all night long. Your favorite maid. When you were reading Trump's tweet, I thought you were playing an interview of him at first. Also, congrats on you and your family getting baptized. Thank you. I know. I make a very good Donald Trump impression. Just kidding. It was David.
Oh, here we go. I checked my email. He's got the Al Zut coin.
Nice. Dev S, God bless you. So happy for your family's baptism. Now on to Constantinople. We'll do that soon. Working on it as we speak. Maria Luisa Delgado, thank you so much. Dev, congrats on the baptism. I just got baptized last weekend. God bless you and the wood. Congratulations. Very, very nice. Good to know. Very good to know. This guy has an opinion, said, thinking my Christian rapper name will be Lil Liturgy. People will say, yo, that boy spitting liturgy to the cats. Short for catechumen. And that's funny.
That is dope.
That is good.
That was fly.
Me and my cats. Me and my kids getting baptized soon. Brian to the Boo says, AP and my benevolent ortho brethren. Check out the indie Eastern Orthodox film El Tonto por Cristo, currently trying to get into the theaters. Peace.
Hey, I never thought of this until you were mispronouncing the word and fumbling over it like a barely literate 7th century Arabian prophet. But in lots of Quran translations, the most benevolent. It'd be funny if you switched that to benevolent.
Yeah,
that would be dope.
Benevolent.
Allah is the most benevolent.
Nathan Lubarsky says, will all Jews go to hell even though they believe in the Father? Also, why don't apologists go after Jews but go after Muslims?
One, what apologists? You have Messianic Jewish apologists who dedicate their lives to reaching their fellow Jews and so on. So what do you mean? You mean people who focus on Islam? Probably because we focus on Islam. Probably because there's like Jews, like 2 billion Muslims in the world, and they're talking about violently subjugating us.
Why don't you talk about Jews?
You need to talk about the Jews.
Jews. If you want to talk about hell, you have to specify who you're talking to and what you exactly mean. I guess people have different perspectives on this and on the theology of it and on different religious groups and all that. As for why not going after Jews? Well, for one, I don't think that Jews are a problem. David doesn't think that Jews are a problem. We both think that Islam is a problem. And if certain people want to speak to Jews and invite them to become Christians, there are others who are doing that on a regular daily basis, as David has just pointed out. For example, there's this channel, So Be It, is one of those. Another one is, I don't remember. But yeah, you have people in Jerusalem talking to Jewish people about faith every day. So why would I be doing that? Cooper E33. My son liked old Russian folk music and the history of Russia. I don't understand his interest. He used to be more interested in Germany. Should I be worried if I even make sense? I think you should be very worried. This might be going into a very bad direction.
Hey, that's kind of weird. Like liking old Russian folk music. For some reason, one of my sons, I don't know where he got this from. I was like shocked until we were like on a road trip and he started playing this stuff. But he was interested in Russian. There are these like Russian war ballads where they tell the story of someone who did something and stuff. And anyway, it sounded horrible to me, but he likes them. But he's telling me what all this stuff means because apparently he had watched like translations of these stories and stuff like that. So anyway, I don't know. Different people have different tastes, I guess.
People are weird. When I was younger, I was interested in Russian stuff as well. So, and then before that, I was interested in German stuff as well. Actually, it was a different order, but yeah. Pano Kostoros. Hitler was almost the guardian of Mount Athos, by the way. This is a very funny thing that some people bring up. Some people who are pro-Hitler and pretend to be Christian online sometimes like to bring up when I point out that Hitler was anti-Christianity and anti-Christ and anti-religion. They say, "Oh, look, how about this? How about this Mount Athos letter to Hitler?" This is indeed a thing. When Hitler was on his campaign of invading nation by nation, and they were doing their invasion of Greece, Mount Athos, which is a very significant, very important place in Eastern Orthodoxy, did send out a letter asking Hitler to safeguard Mount Athos and to protect it. And the report is that Hitler confirmed it. The issue with that is that, according to the very same reports, Hitler was putting together a plan to send a delegation to Mount Athos to assess all the belongings that are there, including all the iconography, all the religious items, and everything that is there to assess the value of everything. Now, what exactly does this mean? Mount Athos it has generally been throughout history indifferent toward political movements, and they probably also didn't know much about what the Nazis actually are doing. They were more concerned with religious stuff. So what they wanted was to simply ask the Nazis who are about to invade not to touch them, because prior to this, the Mount Athos was destroyed several times and looted and all that. So they wanted guarantees from Hitler that Hitler would not do anything to them. He did guarantee it. Here is the issue, however. Hitler also took control of many other monasteries and holy places throughout Poland, Russia, and Eastern Europe. You might not want to look up what happened to those places. Or you might want to look it up. Most of those places ended up being destroyed, looted under Hitler's watch, belongings taken and given into the German treasury to be used for war efforts and so on. Hitler was, in order to preserve peace or establish some trust, good with that kind of stuff, but as soon as he had control, he would use it in the most vile ways. He had no regard for Christianity, he had no regard for Christian values, and his plans were very clear to subvert and destroy and use Christianity for his own religious ways once he's done with the war. I have books for that here. One of them is The Aryan Jesus, which is about how the Nazis were trying to create their own version of who Jesus actually was. They already created their own new Bible version and so on. Pretty messed up people. Vitaly Kushin, congratulations to the most humble on taking the last step in becoming our brother. Imagine my shock, my first time voting for Trump after becoming a citizen, and he starts acting this way. I'm both Ukrainian.
Hey, I just wanted to point out, since AP's bragging about all these books and he's got all these books on all these important topics and stuff, look what I find here. Why Women Deserve Less by Myron Gaines. To be fair, it was on the floor, but You get the point. That could mean he's like just reading it so constantly he doesn't even put it back on the shelf. But anyway, just pointing that out.
It was indeed on the floor, and I ordered it for 2 reasons.
You ordered that?
Yeah.
Figured it's something someone gave you, like, here, take this. And you're like, okay, I'll go home and throw this away.
No, I actually ordered it for 2 reasons. Number one, just for the very short moment of pranking my wife and showing it to her when it arrives. And she's like, what?
That sounds like something I would do. My wife walks in the room and I'm, good point. That is a good point right there.
Number 2, just so I can look at it and see what kind of dumb stuff it says. And it is it is actually dumber than I thought. It's like a, I think, 80-page long book or something. I think it has 80 pages or 70, 80 pages or something like that. And it is like probably one of the dumbest things I've ever read, pretending to be a book. So this is written by Myron Gaines, whose brain seems to be full of feces. I actually thought I would talk about it and maybe make a video or something about it, but then I thought this is just so dumb I don't even want to give it any more attention. So Vitaly Kushin. So imagine my shock first time voting for Trump after becoming a citizen, and he starts acting this way. I'm both Ukrainian born and with Jewish heritage. What now? Nothing. All you can do is see what happens and pray or hope or wait. How many pages does it have?
84. You were
Oh,
off. You were way off.
You
said
see,
80.
I was right. Less Spicy Ramen says, ages ago when you first said that Mrs. AP turned to orthodoxy.
Hold on. Just went to the end. The strategy of living your best life while forcing women to prove themselves to you will give you the best chances of success with the least amount of risk. Yeah, he's crushing it in the relationship department. But the key to following this strategy is to align your expectations with what women are capable and incapable of. And once you stoically accept what you do and do not control, you will eliminate any unrealistic expectations, allowing for a more productive, peaceful, and enjoyable life. Your life should be very much like a weather forecast you cannot control, but make the best out of. Excellence with a chance of tail. And that's about the best one can hope for in life. What a freaking dork and loser.
What an imbecile.
Isn't that crazy? Like every normal person I know has a much better relationship with a woman than this guy will ever have in his entire life. And he's like acting like he's a self-help guru.
I am the worst person when it comes to relationships. Now let me give you relationship advice. Years ago, when you first said that Mrs. AP turned to orthodoxy, I wholeheartedly wished you to discover how beautiful and base it is. For it to touch your heart, it is humbling to see you go through metanoia. Glory be to God. Indeed, glory be to God. It is very powerful. It is very, very, very powerful. Thank you. Appreciate that. Chad Parsons, David Wood, now there's an obligation to take something to see how long it takes AP to notice. Parade it around your set until he asks you to give it back.
I bet it would take AP like 2 seconds to find out that his book is missing.
I would deliberately not notice it because I would be happy that it's finally gone.
I had it the whole time.
Come on, why did you? Rick Newton, I will sue you, accept a lawsuit. A zootified bin, says Bully. David Kazashi, what's up, David? Dawood, you should make a Koranagami of the Zut plug.
That would be some work right there.
Jesus King became a member. David Kazashi became a member. Thank you for joining the cult. There is no leaving, by the way. Style and Rail Woodworking said, I dare anyone to become best friends with David Wood and not become a Christian. KJ139PS says, now AP is a Christian. David Wood, who's next ex-Muslim on your list?
Who says it has to be an ex-Muslim?
Ah, interesting. The potato guy, 0 chance Trump becomes a Muslim, 100%. I'll say somewhere between 1% and 100%. What do you think?
Yeah, it depends on whether any Dawa guys get in a position to tell Trump about what Islamic paradise is like.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Clutch Gio, a nice more Apostle Prophet. May the Lord bless both of you. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. Dr. Larsena, back in the day, U2 was well known for hanging out with Rushdie. Must admit that can't remember exactly when that day was. Sorry, guess I'm getting old.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Is this a joke or is it real? What the heck?
No, I'm looking it up too.
Okay, you can look it up then. Jesus is King says, I became a member of the most humble Mahdi. There's so much power in baptism, being baptized in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Oh, hi, Dawood. Indeed, there is. That's what we're going to do. Be baptized thrice, 3 times in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's going to be powerful.
Oh.
What?
Their song, The Ground Beneath Her Feet, is a song by Irish rock band U2. It appears in the 2000 film The $1 Million Hotel, which was produced by U2 lead vocalist Bono, and the song was included on the film's soundtrack. Author Salman Rushdie is credited as the lyricist, as the words are taken from his 1999 book, The Ground Beneath Her Feet. So they apparently not only were hanging out, he joined them on stage.
What?
What the heck? I never knew any of this stuff.
What? I prefer UB40 over U2. So,
I definitely prefer U2, but
you don't over UB40. Make me sick. Yes, Holy Joe Rushdie appeared on stage. Look, could have just looked it up right here. It's in the super chat. Holy Joe said Rushdie appeared on stage during a U2 concert at Wembley in 1993, some years after he went into hiding over the fatwa. He later wrote a book called The Ground Beneath Her Feet. The lyrics would be made into a song by U2. Wow.
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures with Rushdie and Bono, and obviously at different ages. Somewhere they're young, somewhere they're old, and so on. And then there's there's somewhere they're all in tuxedos, so some big event and so on. There's some like at a concert. So yep, did not know that. Interesting.
Kingston Town. Soldier of Christ, congrats, AP. Now that you're a Christian, who is Jesus to you, my Lord and Savior? And David Wood, can you share anything that you felt uniquely different between AP and Nabil's conversion? You were the vessel for God.
I don't know what you're talking about, feeling, but anyway.
What is feeling?
They're AP and Nabil are just like completely different people.
Oh, we have
completely different backgrounds, completely different situations.
We have different names too. So.
Yeah, different names. One's named AP, and one is named Nabil.
Yeah. But what's specifically different in the conversion?
I don't know. You've got completely different guys. The whole situations were completely different.
Yeah, we also look different, I think. Joseph, David, you should be the voice on Audible for that book. You should be.
For Myron Gaines?
Yeah.
That'd be funny. I'll do it.
The Howard Troll sister is an extreme feminist. Thanks for gift idea. Powerful. Why? Please crush Myron. I don't know how the Orthodox deal with him. When I stop thinking violently about him, it's when Christ has changed my heart. What? Please crush Myron. I don't know how the Orthodox deal with him. When I stop thinking violently about him, it's when Christ has changed my heart. It's not easy. Nice. Veritas says, hey, Alderman, ex-Muslim Christian here. I'm struggling on deciding between Orthodoxy and Catholicism. What in particular made you choose Orthodoxy? I talked about this several times, but it's,
You He's like, oh, it was closer. The church was closer. So I was like, oh, I'll go to that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I could go Orthodox or Catholic or Protestant. He went to the maps and he's like, which has the closest church? Ha! Orthodox church right down the road.
Yeah. Well, I would normally, I Googled church near me, and the closest was an Orthodox church. This is why I didn't become a Protestant. Yeah. No, there are different reasons why I ended up with Orthodoxy instead of Catholicism, but I generally don't want to talk about them very much because I kind of, because I don't want to do the whole, even if it's in a good way, especially not right now, speak negatively about one over the other. That's just what I don't want to do. Maybe I'm supposed to do that at some point, to point out flaws and what I see as right and all that, but especially right now, I don't think that's something that I want to be engaged in. But it's just more about just church history, doctrine, the first councils, the divide in the split, the schism over the authority of the Pope and the filioque and all that. I saw that I consider that the Orthodox Church seemed to be in the right in those different ways. That said, I really like a lot about the Catholic Church.
Yeah, he says that. Yeah, he's trying to be nice while he's live, but like when we're not live, he's like, I would not submit to their popery.
I was talking trash about the Catholic Church all day long. It's like we were eating, and I'm like, can you believe these Catholics?
They're all weaklings.
And David is like, can you please stop talking about the Catholic Church, man? Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Pretty messed up. I can't help it.
AP's like, look, I wasn't alive back there to fight them, or there would be no Catholic Church.
But I carry this rosary with me all the time. See, I respect it powerfully. You should get some women on and be the hosts instead of womenizing Christian them by breaking down Islam in a live podcast.
Oh, that is already a plan. That is already a plan. It's not going to be like the shows, all these dudes who get a bunch of OnlyFans chicks on there. But we noticed it one day. Who was on that show? It was me and Jai, but there were 3 women on the live stream with us. It was DOC. Who else? DOC, I think Mary Harp, and was it Hatun? I'm trying to think. I think that was, but someone pointed out, they're like, hey, the women actually outnumber the men on this live stream. And anyway, then I thought that would actually be a good idea. Like DOC, I mean, just think of a stream, a regular show with no guys on it. It's DOC, Hatun, and Mary Harp, live call-in show where Muslim men can call in and challenge them. I think any Muslim who calls in is going to get annihilated and destroyed pretty quick. So wouldn't that be like a fun show? It's a live call-in show with women, 2 of them ex-Muslims, and Muslim guys get to call in and get completely, utterly humiliated. It'd be kind of reverse. Apparently what these guys do on these shows, they get a bunch of like dumb chicks on there, and then they put in the smart guy, and all the women look dumb, and they go, ha ha, the women are so dumb, look at us, we're smart, we feel like men. But imagine how embarrassing it will be if there's a live call-in show. It's all women it's a much more difficult situation for Muslims, because Muhammad said that women are intellectually deficient. If a bunch of intellectually deficient women are just humiliating all the Muslim guys who call in, I think that would be pretty psychologically damaging to the ummah. But it would be fun to watch.
Wait a minute. I forgot that my screen name is the Mahdi. It's supposed to be
the most humble Mahdi.
The most humble.
He said dumb.
Dumble.
He said dumble. The most Dumbledore Mahdi.
The most humble. Dude.
Can't even type.
The most humble Mahdi. The most humble Mahdi. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it in caps, so you know it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jesus loves you, AP, and so do we, your family in Christ. Indeed. Thank you. Appreciate that. Last spicy ramen. David Wood, you could have been AP's godfather, just saying cuff, cuff, cuff.
And I'd be like, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. No, still never seen the movie. I have to practice.
You have not seen the freaking Godfather movie?
I've seen some clips. When I was younger, I was like, I don't know, it seemed like a really long movie, man.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about it. Especially the second movie, it's like unbearably long and bad and boring.
It's weird. I think I saw half of the third one at some point. I was like, this isn't very good.
I think the first one is the best, and the third one is the second best. The second one is just so much, it's kind of boring at some point. But still, one of the best movie trilogies ever made.
Analyze This was good. That was Mafia movie.
Mosh Cohen, LOL, who cares about Myron? The dude has nothing below the hair. If you open his brain, you'll see his shoelace. Cut that shoelace and the ears falls off. Yeah. Myron is pretty dumb. So that's the thing. That is the problem with Myron. He's pretty dumb. But he manages to gather people around him who are just as dumb as he is. Just as dumb as he is. Kwai, I was talking about Myron Gaines. Please make a video on his dumb philosophy.
Yeah, you should, since the book is so short, you should go and read the book and then say, I read Myron Gaines' book, my reaction or something like that. I bet that video would do well. It wouldn't take you long to read that book because they'll just, women dumb, men better, men be strong. Tell women they're stupid and they have to do what you say.
I don't want to brag, but he's scared of me. You know? He was talking on his stream about how I challenged him to a debate, and he said, you know, and I want to do it, but we can't do it anyway because it won't be allowed on YouTube. So that's why we can't do it like that.
And then Cameron instantly said he'd host it.
Yeah, he said he'd host it.
Yeah.
I said we can do it on Rumble, and I got multiple people who have a direct line to him, who are directly in contact with him. I told multiple people, hey, Myron said this, let's arrange it. He has so far quietly rejected every single attempt. So he's clearly well aware. He knows. I directly talked to him as well. I directly messaged with him, and we interacted with each other in a group chat. And he also there was like, oh yeah, I will definitely debate anything. And then he stopped responding.
Hey,
he clearly doesn't want to have a debate.
Hey, you know what you should do? Announce that you'll debate Myron Gaines, Jake Shields, and the Hodge twins 4-on-1. 4-on-1 handicap match. That's a handicap debate. You guys have to get equal time.
5-on-1. It's Jake Shields, the Hodge twins, Dan Bilzerian, and Myron Gaines. 5-on-1.
Announce that. Say you'll take on all 5 at once, not in an El Zoot way, in a debate way.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that right. I'm gonna do that tonight. These people are fraudsters, probably being paid by somebody or something. Ida Rogozin, what's up, Ida? What's up, Ida? Ida. Yosef said, call the show Double Winger at the most humble. Hey, Double Winger is a good name. It goes with your initials, you know. What else could be? Something with wing, winger, something winger. Yeah, pretty solid stuff. KCE, Apostate Prophet, Double Winger. If USA was in the same situation as the UK, would your approach be different? Winger, what do you think?
Approach to what?
Approach to what? What situation? You mean if the USA was also a pretty dumb country?
Yeah, we're not sure what like what we're doing right now, because things are more dangerous for people over there because you run into people. I mentioned this last year. I get recognized probably once or twice a month in the U.S. just to be at a grocery store or something like that. Hey, you're on YouTube and stuff like that. Over there, everyone was recognizing me everywhere I went, just walking down the street, constantly all day. And so I think it's a bigger a bigger issue over there, so more people are paying attention to it, stuff like that. But that also means that more people, you would be in significantly more danger over there, where people can recognize you more. But I still don't know what you're talking about as far as if the situation was the same.
They will be recognizing you over there.
You mean if we were some little,
Life is
if
in
we were
danger.
some tiny little weak nation on a crap island with no decent food at all?
If it was a crappy island like the United Kingdom, what would you even do? I don't know what to do about that.
Powerful. Hey, have you heard of this Azalea Banks?
Oh yeah, you should make a video about her.
Oh, I should, right? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I should make a video about Azalea Banks. So Azalea Banks just many people might not know about.
You can't put any of that on the screen, dude. There's nothing she says. There is nothing she has posted that you could put on the screen.
Well, there is one thing which I actually retweeted of her, which was kind of clean, I would say. When she was first asked about, I think the question was, "Are you a Zionist or are you pro-Palestine?" And then she just said, "I am a Zionist." And then the next post was about how she would never support something that is pro-Islam, pro-Palestine, or pro-Arab or something like that. So,
and then some people mouthed off to her, not realizing that's not going to change her mind. She doesn't seem like whatever else you want to say about how nutty she is in various ways, not someone is going to back down if you start messing with her and harassing her. How dare you? How dare you? We will make fun of you.
The thing is, I used to sometimes like look at her stuff in the past when she would argue.
What are you doing looking at her stuff, man?
Because
quit looking at her stuff. It's music, dude. Just listen.
Because she's always had this very crazy way of fighting with people.
I do. I told you. I've never paid any attention to her. Except way back in like 2016, 2017, when she was going up. Because I remember it was in the Bronx. I remember I was in the Bronx when I was familiar with her arguing with everybody and stuff. But
yeah, so she did a very little thing here that I kind of want to make a video about. Maybe I should make a video about that. What do you think?
Are you a Zionist or you're pro-Palestine?
And then she said to that, "I'm a Zionist." And then, sorry, but I'm never going to be pro-Islam anything so long as Arab Muslim countries hold black people in chains. I don't know why you guys keep asking me the same question. I'm pro-Israel. Good night. Don't ask me again.
And that is the only thing she's ever said that you can actually pull up in a live stream.
And don't ask me again. And then she went on a whole... on a whole rant about it, and people started attacking her, like, "Oh, could you say you're a Zionist?" And she was like, "I am a Zionist, and I am pro-Israel, and I don't care about you, and I don't care about your problems, and then this and this and that." She just went, and people are like, "Oh,
what you're saying is like 1/10, is like like 100th of how she dialed it up.
I'm doing it I'm presenting the mildest version of it, but basically people were like, "Oh no, how could you?" And they think they can do this thing with her where they gang up on somebody and try to pile up and be like, "Oh no, we have to tell her she's wrong. Let's tell her she's wrong." And then the more she receives the "you're wrong" thing, the more she doubles down and gets even more brutal about it. So she's one of those people.
That goes back to personality types and so on. Some people, the more you push, the more they push back.
Yeah. Very, very, very based. Apostate Prophet, how do I grow a majestic, based, orthodox beard like you? Well, you have to pray about it. I don't know, just letting it go. And I was picking my beard at some point. I stopped doing that a little bit. And I've also used Muhammad Hijab's beard oils. So that helped. Just kidding. Got my own beard oils. Hey, maybe I should start doing that. I should advertise beard oil, like one of the few things.
AP's beard oil. You should come up with some. You should like make sure you get like the most epic beard ever. It's like phenomenal, and then start selling your beard products.
One of the few things that Muslim apologists, that Dawa guys advertise, like beard oil and Viagra. Yeah.
Well, they need the Viagra for They're all Zoot reenactments
Get some Viagra so that when the Zoot
for the hotel wives.
Moncho in JP accent. What exactly do you mean by the word Tawheed? Arctic based. Just realized AP's following in the footsteps of Borat.
Yes,
He's basically the I'm gonna move it to the USA and to become a follower of Mr. Jesus stage. Make benefit glorious nation of Turkey.
Turkestan.
I don't care about Turkey. I care about Turkey. Ida Rogozin, who is behind David, I can't tell.
You already explained it.
I already explained it, Ida. You gotta go back.
Earlier in the stream.
She's called Saint Maria of Paris or Elisaveta something. Very, very based.
And she saved a bunch of Jews during World War II.
She did a very, very big thing. But Jews. MT, AP, and David Wire make fun of Momo's Al-Zut adventures.
You think we're not going to make fun of Muhammad's Al-Zut adventures? We're
Yeah.
going to make an entire children's book. No, that wouldn't work unless you really water some things down.
Yeah.
I guess it couldn't be creepier than some of the books they give to kids nowadays.
Al-Zut. Hollister, Muslim ban a few weeks after the American Pope. Close enough. Welcome back, Crusades. Powerful. I haven't really followed the whole Muslim ban thing. I'm not sure.
He banned. He banned travel from like 12 countries. I think like maybe 8 of them or something like that. Or Muslim
to
countries.
what extent is it being implemented? And
I
I
don't
think
know.
it has to still go through.
I don't know. I was here hanging out with you when the news broke, man.
It still has to go through like a court thing.
Oh, hey, maybe that's why there's this fight with Elon right now. Like, hey, Elon, I got to push through some stuff about banning some countries. Could you throw a big tantrum so everyone focuses on that? What?
I didn't even see these
That is funny. She's funny. Oh,
I still had the Azalea Banks thread open on the side here, and I didn't even read.
It's really funny.
I didn't even read further down the thread.
It's funny how she puts everything. It'll start off, and then all of a sudden she just dials it up to 10 every time.
It just says all these dumbass rappers trying to flex in Dubai. I would never play in Dubai. The F, I have zero clue why black people are so amped to visit Dubai. F Dubai.
Leaving out some stuff, but pretty funny.
My God. Yosef, you're still my favorite apologist, Dawood. Just playing.
Too late.
Too late. You've already lost. Rob M. Elon has cooled off. He's not going to cancel Dragon. Really? I don't know.
Oh, I did. I mean, I did like that when Trump is saying maybe we're gonna have to end all. Maybe we're gonna have to end all the government contracts. Maybe we're never gonna get to Mars and so on. And Elon's like, fine, canceling Dragon, SpaceX right now. That's like if he seriously did that, or just him saying it, but if he like actually did it, that's two things. One, that's a message of fine. I will burn everything to the ground right now. You're not stopping me from saying what I'm going to say and so on. So that's one. The other thing is, if you're trying to tick people off about Trump, then you're looking for different groups. There are people who are excited about, various space projects and so on. So if you're like, fine, everyone, fine. Donald Trump, the guy I've been, promoting for a while now, he says we can't do our fun space stuff. So don't blame me. I was ready to do it. We were all amped for going to space and doing all this stuff in space, but guess who ruined it? Him. Boo. It's kind of funny.
Gaunritter says, do you think some of the new right is falling apart? Many
You
are
think?
falling anti-Israel resentment. More think without evidence terrorists will save America. I mean, it is pretty much falling apart. The whole thing is also, since Trump first ran for president, it has turned more from a Republican or conservative party into Trump party, and then those who are not pro-Trump inside the party. But once he no longer has the ability to be president anymore, I really wonder what happens then. how things change.
Well, here's the thing, like over these past several years, when I was breaking down like groups and what happens when a group feels like it's being attacked, and how you know, they demand conformity and so on, and you can have a group that's centered around an idea or a set of ideas and so on, or you can have a group that's mainly centered around a person. And so there's a collection of ideas in MAGA, but it's more of a person-centered movement, right? It's a group built largely around Donald Trump. So yeah, once you'd have to figure out how it's gonna carry on, like after this term as president.
This is the funny thing. So when you think about it, in so many nations where democracy was established, there has been kind of a switch to people lining up and being fan of certain autocrats, of like one leader who gets elected over and over and over and over and over again and leads the nation for like decades. That happened in many supposedly democratic nations. It happened in Turkey with Erdogan. He's basically like the one dictator, the one sole ruler under a democracy. It happened in Russia with Putin. It happened in many other countries, many such cases. That's the funny thing about the American system. The American system directly prevents something like that from happening. It directly prevents such a thing from happening. If America didn't have election limits,
they were geniuses, man. The founding fathers. Yeah. I mean, and they still thought you would eventually run into a problem. It's like the entire system is set up to avoid a tyranny, and they still thought you would eventually get a tyranny. But it's like, this is like the most you can do to avoid a tyranny, and they did like every single thing you could possibly come up with, and they put it all into the system.
I know Putin is voted in honest. I know Putin is voted in. That's not my point. My point is precisely that, actually, that in certain democracies, or that in democracies, you often end up with this thing that despite it being a democracy, people start being obsessed with that one leader that they think is awesome.
Yeah, perfect. Even if he's a total douche like Putin.
So they start voting for that very same person again and again and again and again. And those people that don't like that person are basically stuck with that person, and it feels like living under a one-man government, an autocracy. So that's what happens. And in the United States, this is not possible because we have the system in place where a person can't be elected more than twice.
No, but I mean, no. Putin's a perfect example of this cycle, right? So you got the Soviet Union, and then the Soviet Union collapses because communism is crap. But then the Russians are all like, oh, we were this big powerful thing, and we're not anymore. What are we gonna do? And Putin steps in there, and everyone's like drunk on vodka, and Putin's like, I will restore us to glory days of Soviet Union. You vote for me, and they're like, oh, let's vote. But then everything sucks even more. The whole country sucks. So what happens? People drink more vodka, and they're even drunker the next election comes along, right? So what do? They're all drunk. They vote for Putin again, because that feels like they can't even read the thing they have to vote on, right? Can't even read the ballot, so they're like, and they vote. So anyway, then Putin's in power again because he puts his name at the top, and that's all these drunk people can do. And then what happens? Then stuff sucks even more, so they're even more drunk. So they're getting drunker and drunker and drunker, and the drunker they get, the more they just mindlessly vote for whoever is in power. This is exactly what AP was saying.
And the thing is, you can understand that you can understand something like this. You know, people going for Putin over and over again. If it was like, if he did a phenomenal job and kind of lifted the country to become an exceptionally amazing, successful country. But it's not like that's what happened. So many other countries had had opportunities to lift themselves from worse conditions and totally boom. Russia is not a very good place to live in Europe in comparison to other European nations. So it's not like the guy did like an outstanding job. It's not like the guy gave people a fantastic quality of life. It's just it's really not great.
Putin?
Yeah.
They're drunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get people drunk enough, they'll vote for anybody.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
And no one gets drunker than the Russians.
Yep. Yep. And Russia has this kind of messed up sentiment of like, we are supposed to be the rulers. We are the leaders of Europe. If they accept it or not. If they don't accept it, we will defeat them and we will make them accept it.
If everyone votes for me, we will restore glory of Russian Empire and make all world drunk.
Putin isn't that bad, isn't he? Well, I mean, I guess if you don't think a guy who says we need to bring back all the land that belong to Mother Russia under Russia, and they need to be obey us, and nobody is allowed to criticize this and this and that. If you think that's not bad, then I guess he's not bad. So, Grauenritter, do you think, your favorite mate, I don't think Jake Shields and the Hodge twins are frauds. They just listen to Candace too much because she's their friend. Well, I have to make a distinction here between Jake Shields and everyone else that we mentioned. Look, we talked about Myron Gaines. We talked about the Hodge twins. We talked about Dan Bilzerian. Now, none of these people are particularly intelligent. However, Jake Shields, you can't.
He's a special class of dumb. That's what you want to say.
He's like, I'm not sure how to put this.
The man has been knocked out too many times. I don't know if he was born. I don't know if he was born this dumb. Because keep in mind, it's not like I ever heard from the guy or something like that when he was younger. But I don't know. Maybe you could find interviews or something like that and see if he had a brain when he was younger. But anyway, if you can find an interview with him or something he wrote from like a long time ago, like when he's 18 or something, if he actually sounds like he can carry a coherent thought, then it's probably due to so many being punched in the head so many times. But you might go back and find, no, he always sounded like an idiot, in which case, he's always been dumb, and the hits to the head probably just made it significantly worse.
And there's a very severe case of mental retardation, and I'm not sure how to get around this fact. But so I would say, like, for example, Myron, out of the other ones that we counted, seems to be more on the intelligence side.
You said more
in comparison to the others. But Jake Shields is just like, he's probably very, very distant from all the others, despite the fact that all of these are horrible people. Not all of these. I wouldn't say that the Hodgins are necessarily horrible people, but Dan Bilzerian and Myron Gaines are horrible people. But Jake Shields, I don't think I can really blame the guy, because it's really not his fault. I don't think he can actually form any like remotely intelligent thoughts or anything. So how much can you blame him?
So you're saying he's almost, it's for a different reason, but he's almost in the Kanye category, where you're blurting out all this like evil, messed up stuff, but we're not exactly holding you responsible as we would. Like with Kanye, it's if it was a person who doesn't have this massive mental problem and he was saying this stuff, we'd be like, oh, what an evil person. With Kanye, like, well, he's crazy. He's crazy, and bipolar fluctuates, and things certain times are worse than others, and so on. So you hear him when you hear him going off, it's okay. He is in a totally mental state. And so you're saying with Jake, he's so messed up and so insanely stupid that you can't hold him responsible.
You can't.
Entirely.
You can't hold him responsible. You cannot hold him responsible. If the guy ended up, committing a crime, I think it would be fair to rule that he doesn't have the capability of actually being held responsible for the things that he says, that he does, the things that he thinks. I don't think that he can be judged on the same level as a functioning human. So
hey, that would be funny. Like people are getting away with this stuff right now. Imagine like the laws change. They're going to hold people responsible for all these messed up things they say. You actually go into court. It's like Kanye might get off of his charges, and so might Jake Shields, based on that sort of thing. Like if you're a lawyer, what are you gonna be arguing? Your Honor, you have any idea how many times this guy's been punched in the head? Just listen to him. Just listen to him. Matter of fact, here's my entire defense, Your Honor. Jake, get up and talk about anything for 5 minutes.
I wouldn't want to sue Jake Shields, because they will just end up ruling that he's incapable of being held, of making decisions. And he can therefore not be held responsible for whatever he does. It's pretty difficult, Basic says, or Basich says, that Jordan Peterson impersonation is spot on. In that voice, can you say, I never said I was a Christian? You made that claim. David.
They're talking about you, weirdo.
Oh, I can't do things when I'm prompted to do that.
It's also, we kind of don't remember exactly.
I never said I was a Christian. You made that claim. I never said I was a Christian. You made that claim.
You got to be angrier. He was angrier when he said.
I never said I was a Christian.
Kiara reads, what's up, Kiara? Good to see you here. AP, I wish you luck during the baptism. I'm coming closer to Christ, following your example, hopefully. I am nervous about approaching a church, though. I'm glad to hear that. I remember you first asking about this. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it, just like that line.
People like your example of being the most humble.
Yeah, just be as humble as me, and then
I can't be as humble as you, but it's like a goal, right?
I mean, you can
get
try
closer.
To be,
you get closer.
Try to be as humble as me, but you can't really do it. But you can at least try, and then and approach a church, and approach whoever is in charge of that church, and speak to them. I think you will be received well.
And if it's an Orthodox church, just go and say, "Hey, I know AP." They'll be like, "What? We will make you the new pope." You see?
But I wish you all the best. MT, she's right. Afro-Palestinians are quartered in a neighborhood in Gaza called Al-Abid, slave in Arabic, and they're called Abd for being black.
I'm surprised you didn't include that in your video that may be coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, I was joking earlier when I said I should make a video about this because I already did record a video about it. So, yeah. Mark became a YouTube member. Welcome to the channel. CR7 made a super chat. Thank you so much. CR7 also said, Jens, much love and respect from the UK. Please share your thoughts on Tommy Robinson.
We've only shared our thoughts on Tommy Robinson like 9 trillion times.
For me personally, it's relatively simple. He got a decade head start on everybody else.
He did.
Keen to hear your opinions.
And he just said that, matter of fact. He just said that after a court thing. He said he was basically 10 years ahead of what everyone is realizing.
You said Israel. Yeah, no, Tommy Robinson. So, despite his many flaws, despite the things that that I would disagree with him on, I think he's very good and courageous, and has been doing for Britain things that others are too shy to do or not smart enough to do, and I think that guy doesn't deserve 1 second in prison or jail, whatever it is. He has my support of other people.
Yeah, and this is also something I've mentioned in the past, but talking about personality types, right?
Yes.
The person who is going to be attacked from every direction by his own government, by the courts, by police, by all the politicians, by journalists, by the public, by the entire world, get banned from social media and so on. I mean, fortunately, they just out of nowhere YouTube gave him his channel back and so on. So hopefully that's a sign that things are changing. But a guy who's just blasted from every direction, he's gonna have a couple of characteristics. And one, he's going to be the sort of person who doesn't back down. What we were just talking about before, some people, if you go after them, they fire back even more. So he's got to have those kind of characteristics, but also someone who doesn't have a lot to lose. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to threaten him into taking away all his stuff or something like that. So anyway, it's the person who's going to stand up under all that fire is going to be a dude who's like a risk taker, who's aggressive and so on. Guess what? That's probably going to be the sort of dude who's gotten in trouble a couple times in his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're not going to get some perfect goody two shoes who's never done anything wrong and never been in trouble and stuff like that, who's going to make that kind of stand. You're not. So you got Tommy. He's the one who's standing against all this stuff. So don't be, oh, well, 12 years ago he did this. Don't care.
Big beard. Look at that.
Pretty based.
Yeah.
Hey, Your beard is longer than Muhammad's. Let's just say not his beard. Although you could say his wives were his beard. Oh boy.
Albert Zoot was a science teacher at my high school. His friends called him Al. Albert Zoot. Zoot. Albert Zoot. Cam, this is Trump, AP. In my glorious bill, I will make it mandatory to teach students to learn about the Zoot. This is Trump, AP. Well, I can do Trump.
I need to just start posting. How come no one's talking about Al Zoot during Pride Month?
In my glorious bill, I will make it mandatory to teach students to learn about the Zoot for Pride Month. It's going to be glorious. You do it.
Trump?
Yeah.
In my glorious bill, some say the greatest bill of all time. For Pride Month, I will make it mandatory. Notice the man. We're putting the man in mandatory, the man of Al Zoot, to teach students, not too young, to learn about the Al Zoot for Pride Month. It's going to be glorious. Muhammad will love it. The Dawa guys will love it.
Arctic Base says Yagshamash.
Yagshamash.
Trump's your daddy.
Trump is your daddy. I like.
The Roman Riddle says, who watches the watchman? The answer, the watchman. That is how the founders viewed the branches in regard to accountability. Wow, that sounds smart. Mosh Cohen says, by the way, Daily Wire, you are 100% on point. That's literally what happened in the previous UK elections. The split between the Tories and Reform caused the Labour win. See? You were right about this. You see? Veritas Associated Prostate. If Apostolic Church true, why has Protestantism produced incredible fruit for Christianity? David Wood, where do you start with Greek philosophy?
Do you want to answer first or second? You've been challenged.
I'm not sure how number one disqualifies number two. So I'm not sure how the first part disqualifies the second part. The Apostolic Church being true, how that would disqualify Protestantism producing incredible fruit for Christianity.
Yeah, the same thing would be like if Protestantism is the correct, or let's say most correct version of Christianity, you can't, I mean, the Catholic Church has had a massive impact on science and spreading literacy and so on around the world. So guess what? All the branches of Christianity produce massive fruit in the world because they've all got Christian principles embedded in them, and that just really tends to help the world. So,
I mean, the Catholic Church has been the greatest force in spreading Christianity around the world. And you could argue that it wasn't always in the best way, but still. It has been the greatest force in spreading Christianity around the world. Is probably, in a worldly sense, responsible for much of the spread of Christianity, for the fact that Christianity is all over the Americas and the East, in Asia, and so on. And then was very, very much fundamental in shaping the growth of Europe, shaping the development, the preservation of knowledge. There is a great book about this, which I recently looked into. I forgot what the title is, but something about the Catholic Church building Europe. I got it somewhere. I don't know. But for example, a saint in the Catholic Church is very well known to be credited for, Saint Benedict, credited for basically establishing the fundamentals for Western monasticism, which led to monasteries, monks, copying and preserving texts, and establishing work ethics, which are considered as creating such awesome work ethics and ways of reproducing and preserving knowledge that helped the West grow much better than the rest of the world, and so on. So the Catholic Church has a fantastic role in the world in terms of Christianity. That said, the Protestant churches have a fantastic role in different regards as well. I think Protestant churches nowadays are doing, or Protestants nowadays are doing a great job in terms of apologetics, responding to critics, responding to different people. In terms of responding to Islam, for example, I think Protestants are doing the best job on average, honestly.
Because we're the most based.
Powerful. And the Orthodox Church probably is then where you can give the Orthodox Church credit, is just that they have preserved the traditions of Christianity in the most accurate and best and most based way. So like we can always praise the different branches of Christianity for different reasons, you see.
Derry Wood, where to start with Greek philosophy? Start with a few dialogues of Plato, but read Euthyphro, Apology, Crito, and Phaedo, in that order, mind you. Euthyphro, Apology, Crito, Phaedo. Read that in that order. Then read some like introduction to philosophy, something that some general introduction to philosophy or something like that. And read the section on the pre-Socratics. Read a section on the pre-Socratics. That'll tell you the various ideas of Thales and Anaximander and Anaximenes and so on. You don't need to spend a ton of time on that. They're called the pre-Socratics for a reason. It's like everything was waiting on Socrates. Pre-Socratics, like before Socrates and after Socrates, kind of gives you an idea of the impact on Socrates and so on. What?
It's the only book I have on Greek philosophy.
Oh yeah. So read those 4 dialogues, then read some sort of introduction to philosophy and go to the pre-Socratic section. There'll be a section on the pre-Socratics. Read that, then read Plato's Republic. There are a bunch more Plato's dialogues that are interesting, but make sure you cover those 4 and then eventually get to Plato's Republic. As for Aristotle, kind of depends. Aristotle, the books of Aristotle are pretty hard reading. That's why I emphasize Plato first. Very easy to read Plato's dialogues. They're written, they're almost like plays. As far as they're written, they're not meant to be acted as plays, but they're written like dramas and so on. So they're entertaining to read while they're discussing difficult topics. Apparently, the works that have survived from Aristotle, we only have about 1/5 of Aristotle's works that actually survive. He actually wrote things like dialogues like Plato and stuff. We don't have any of them. They didn't survive. He wasn't as popular, and that means people weren't copying his stuff as much and so on. But anyway, we have about 1/5, and apparently they're lecture notes. They're like he had lecture notes from where he would give his lectures from and stuff like that. So definitely not as entertaining to read. Dude is a total genius. He's probably like top 5 greatest geniuses of all time, Aristotle. The stuff we have, not the easiest reading, especially because we think very differently and stuff. It's hard to like even understand what he's saying. So you might want to get like an introduction to Aristotle to get his thought and so on. And then depending on how deep you want to go, you might need to read his actual books and so on. But anyway, that would be my view. And as far as like after that, you got other guys, but then it starts getting really, really weird. So I'd stick with the pre-Socratics, Plato, and Aristotle. And unless you need to go into someone else for a reason, I wouldn't worry about it. What?
I'm trying to look for the title of that book that I just mentioned, but I will tell you as soon as I remember. It's about something about the church and the Western culture, or Europe. Yeah. Grauenritter, you make Russia sound a lot like the Ummah. It is.
Yeah, except in Russia, they're all drunk on vodka. In the Ummah, they're all messed up from Al-Zut.
Al-Zut. The Al-Zut. Now messing with the Ummah. Make Russia. Mosh Cohen, what's up, Mosh? Jake Shields worked in Israel in boxing gyms. You can still find the videos online. Myron is the Rit Ed. And then Bills is just an attention whore.
Hey, this actually makes sense. If Jake Shields in Israel, he's probably getting the crap beat out of him by all the Israeli MMA dudes, and he gets all butthurt and goes, "I'm going to go talk about you Jews in your country now because you won't beat me up all the time." What a dork.
AP is right. AP is wrong, says AP is right. Okay. Fantastic.
That's funny. A channel called AP is wrong saying AP is right.
Cam, you hear about Ye saying, come on, Trump and Elon, let's come back together. And someone in the comments said, finally, a man of reason.
That is hilarious. I'll be looking that up now.
Jack Ray, AP, have you seen any Dawagandists claim you were a Christian the whole time?
It's Dawagandists.
And never a real Muslim. No, I've only seen some that go around saying, oh, he was a Christian this whole time. He was just pretending to be atheist. And then you also have others, possibly sometimes even the same people, saying he's not even really a Christian. He's just pretending. It's so dumb. It's so stupid.
Oh, I did see Ali Dawa right when he was talking to God Logic. He's like, oh, and see, ever since they sent him the money for security, he decided he got to convert to Christianity. Like, did you miss the entire? Did you miss the entire past couple of years of? Anyway,
it also doesn't make sense. Why would I do that after?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you got people loved you enough to shower you with money. It's like, what?
Why would I do that after? That's
well, it's just dumb too. I mean, he gets complete morons on the street to recite the Shahada and stuff like that. Yeah, and like someone actually thinks about it carefully for years and converts, and it's like, oh, he did it for money, yeah, and it doesn't even make any sense because you already had the money. Anyway, what a dope.
That's very stupid.
That's Dawa for you.
That's very stupid. Justifying Concord and AP, what's up with the small bookshelf? I miss Dr. Wood's beautiful library, which contains Copleston. I know, man. It's just it's actually a gigantic bookshelf. It's not. It's too small.
People don't know AP massively expanded his desk, and it's pointed out that if he's going to have like guests and stuff like that, he needs to significantly expand his bookshelves behind him so he can have different camera angles pointing in different directions.
Yeah. I've been working on changing stuff here. I had a smaller desk. I just got a much bigger desk, much wider. Set up some new things. That's what I've been doing these last few days. Still doing some changes around here. Bigly.
Wait, I don't even see a response from Kanye. Is it somewhere else?
I don't know. Liam Scott, you see Winston Marshall interview with Raj Mullah? Do you see?
Oh, never mind. This is a parody account. How did a parody account get at Kanye as?
That's weird.
What's Kanye's account?
His
Kanye
account
West
is
at Kanye West.
Kanye West, yeah.
Okay, that made sense. I was like, what the heck? Anyway.
Kanye West.
Elon Musk and Trump's battle roars.
No, this is also the wrong account.
What?
What is this?
What is this? Why am I getting all these stupid?
Did you see Winston Marshall interview with Raj Mullah, David?
What? Did I what? You see Winston Marshall? No.
Winston Marshall. Winston Marshall. I didn't see nothing.
Hello and welcome to the.
I didn't see nothing. Carlo Magno, Catholic Church fulfilled the Great Commission. Powerful, powerful. Ari Wasserman, I sent Raymond Ibrahim al-Zout video to a conservative gay friend who is very anti-Islamic. I said, you hard for Islam now? He responded with thumbs up.
Yeah. What?
Arctic Base says, fun
Oh, that's
fact.
funny. Hey, so Kanye said, bros, please, no. And then he's got a hugging emoji. We love you both so much. And then you had a bunch of people. Finally, a voice of sanity. But you have multiple comments like that.
Fun fact, there is no nada biblical precedent for Christian monasticism. Probably came from India, Buddhism, etc. Agree? Well, there were Jewish communities prior to the rise of Christianity that were also that engaged in some kind of monasticism. For example, the Essenes are known to have had this whole aspect of being ascetic and living some kind of monastic life. David, what do you know about this?
I think I was just looking at all the memes.
That's dumb. So there's no biblical precedence for Christian monasticism. Probably came from India, Buddhism, etc. I agree, but I pointed out that the Essenes, for example, had some like this ascetic life and monasticism and stuff. But there are other communities.
Yeah, so you had that in Judaism, but you also, I have to say, you also had, because when was I mentioning this? Pretty recently, but in earlier Christianity, I don't want to say early Christianity because this did last a long time, but right now, if we talk about the disciplines of a Christian, you'll get like prayer, Bible study, fellowship with other believers, and you'll get like 4 or 5. You'll get like 4 or 5 things. Someone might put fasting in there or something like that. But if you go back earlier, there were other things. It was like simplicity, like living as simple a life as possible, frugality, not being wasteful with things and so on. But one of them was periods of silence and solitude. Right? Periods of silence and solitude. That was a normal Christian thing to do, not permanently or anything. And you see it even in the Bible when you see Jesus would go off to a mountain like by himself and so on. And so you look at you see these things right out of the Bible. Straight out of the Bible. But just over time, as life got more cluttered up, you drop the things that are like that, because it takes significantly more effort to experience silence or solitude now than it did back then, where you could just go over and go up on a hill or something like that. Anyway, so these were a normal part of Christianity. And I've been to a church where this is a normal part of Christianity. You're encouraged, and they would even make it so that you can go off somewhere. They would take a church that isn't being used at a particular time, where you have a bunch of empty rooms, and it's like you go in your room, you go in this room over here, and you are alone and completely quiet all day, things like that. So anyway, those were normal. And then you had people who just focused particularly on these. Let's have an entire life based around, silence and simplicity and solitude and things like that. And you put it all together and you dial it up, and you get monasticism. And again, as AP was pointing out, you had
the Essenes. You also had I was trying to remember their what they were called, but the Nazarites. I think I don't think they were a specific group, but they were just people who had devoted themselves to abstain from certain things. I think they also had this whole thing of growing their hair out and their beard forever. I'm not sure how long they did that, but so there were certain practices in Judaism like that as well. There were certain communities. There was a tradition of asceticism, or simply adopting something for penance that you do either temporarily or or lifelong. Certain groups did that. I think in rabbinic Judaism, it was generally not a very common thing, but there are also, later on in rabbinic Judaism, communities that were established that kind of precede the whole Hasidic movements, which would, gather in certain communities and abstain from certain things lifelong and all that. So there were groups.
And just on the idea as far as like other, India and Buddhism and so on, there's a reason that you have fasting in various cultures and various religions all around the world, right? There's a reason these things emerge. These things are actually helpful and beneficial, right? Fasting for certain periods is actually, it like clarifies your thinking and so on. And so there's a reason that keeps happening. Getting away from everyone else and everything else for a while, and like sort of calming your mind down and so on, that actually helps and so on. So anyway, it's not surprising that humans with various backgrounds would end up doing some of the same things.
Oh, this is directly from the Bible, isn't it? Numbers 6, 1 to
Oh, you're talking
21.
about the Nazarite vow, yeah.
Yeah. The Nazarite vow. They abstain from alcohol and
You had
and hair.
Samson. Samson was a Nazarite from birth.
Based. Straight out the Bible. Austin says, I just finished Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus. Amazing story. What do you think your first conversation with Nabil will be when you see him in heaven?
How'd we do? Stole that from Mike Tyson. They said something like because his the guy who adopted him and taught him boxing and stuff was a guy named Customato, who was he'd been a boxing trainer for a long time, but he was like old. He was an old man when he met young Mike Tyson and stuff like that. Adopted him, started training him, then adopted him, and so on. And but was like he was really close to Customato, and Customato died when Tyson's career is just starting to take off and so on. But someone asked him in an interview, you know, if you could ask Customato one thing, what would it be? And he goes, "How'd I do?"
Nice.
Pretty base.
Nice. Brave Patriotics says, "Praise the Lord, brothers. I recently came across a claim from the Muslims that the Christians present today are not what their Quran is referring to. What would be your take on that? Thank you." We talked about this quite a few times. But
show us the proof. I mean, you could say he's talking about a particular local Christian group or something like that, but show us where this isn't talking about, you know, just Christians.
I mean, it's clearly talking about the Christians in the time. It's clearly talking about their scripture that they have. It's clearly talking directly to Christians, even addressing them, saying, "Christians and Jews, let us come together and in saying this and this and this." There's never
just say, show us from the Quran what specific group is talking about, what specific group this is referring to, and then explain to us why we're not that, and explain to us how people of the book. Notice the generic,
but the people.
You have the people of the gospel and so on. You have the Christians. And then you just have people of the book, which is like a blanket term for Christians and Jews. But I mean, explain to us how this isn't talking to us. And then an interesting follow-up. So after you say, okay, show us from the Quran who is being addressed here. The question after that is, oh, so this isn't talking to us, right? This isn't something we're supposed to take seriously, right? Not talking to us. And then you have other follow-ups like fight those who do not believe, and it specifically refers to the people of the book as people who have to be subjugated and so on. But that not talking about us. And then of course you have all these hadiths where Muhammad talks about Jews and Christians at the judgment, and here's what Jews are going to be asked, and here's what Christians are going to be asked. Like, oh, okay, was that just talking about some specific group of Christians, some specific local group of Christians, not talking about us? Anyway, it's that might help them get out of one little issue that you're raising. Oh, it's not talking about you, it's talking about someone else. Okay, one, prove that. And two, okay, it's just not talking about Christians. Great. Don't tell us about this stuff, and we're not interested.
Great. My wife said John the Baptist is the father of the desert monastics. Based. Praise the Lord, brother, says Brave Patriotics. Oh, I already read this. What's wrong with you, man? Ari Wasserman, what's up, Ari? Dizzle, you know what they do to you in prison if you're white with an elegant face?
That's Muhammad.
Muhammad beheads Dizzle and screams, "Arrest me, arrest me." Yeah. Veritas. My point was that many
it's like, as a matter of fact, that ties in. I told you Pierce Morgan just had.
Oh yeah, I need to look it up. Man.
Pierce Morgan just had Suge Knight for an interview. Suge Knight's in prison, so he wasn't there, but he has him on the phone, and he just listens to Suge Knight telling all these stories. And Suge Knight was saying, "Oh, Diddy will be happier in prison. Trust me, he's going to be happier in prison because of what he's into and so on." But I mean, think about that. That would be true of Muhammad as well, right? Muhammad would be happier in prison. So yeah, but if Muhammad were around, he would commit some horrible crime. I mean, he already would have. He would have molested a kid or something like that. So he would have ended up in prison no matter what. But if Muhammad found out what prison is like, he'd do something to get locked up.
It is kind of funny that I didn't believe it when he first told me that he actually had Suge Knight on Pierce Morgan. It's kind of messed up that he has him on speaking there. Are the guys as messed up as it gets?
Yeah. Anything for clicks.
My point was that many see those outside of the apostolic churches as an anathema, so it seems like Christ has no preference. See Mark 9:38-40. I mean, I don't want to speak too much on the whole anathema issue, but
but I still would say that the point that, so the objection that I made to the question would still stand, which is that just because one is kind of seen as the fullness of the faith or the fullness of the church and so on, that wouldn't necessarily mean that other branches or that other traditions don't provide good fruits or something like that. But the whole issue of the one true church and anathema and all that, not something that I terribly really want to bigly comment on at this stage, very, very honestly. I have respect for all the Christians and all those who believe in the Nicene Creed and the proper Christology and Trinity. Yeah. You see, even those who say filioque, even those, imagine. Merchant Wrecker says, hey guys, out of topic question. Why are the Jews the most persecuted group? I mean, Shylock was a Jew too. Why do people not like Jews? Why does Israel support media management? Good morning. I think there is one major aspect, which is you don't have many groups that are in the world that are, despite being so small, also so persistent in continuing to exist and being very successful in many different ways. Usually when larger cultures take over historically, they expect and somehow manage to assimilate the smaller cultures. And so and this is not meant to be like a criticism or depicting vilifying these groups. This is just what every single group has basically historically done. Certain religious groups take over, or certain ethnic groups take over, and they try to suppress the other smaller groups within them. Jews stick out as a group that throughout history just did not give in and did not assimilate, did not change, did not give up their values. There's also, of course, a great factor in that, which is that despite the fact that in Christian lands throughout Christian history, Jewish people did undergo certain phases of massive persecution and all that, there was always kind of a balanced aspect by Christians toward Jewish people, such as that, for example, Augustine says that the continued existence of Jews among us Christians is actually a sign from God, and that they should not be persecuted, should not be killed, should not be touched, and all that. So there is kind of this whole tension of on the one hand, we want them to be assimilated and to be absorbed into us. On the other hand, they also are kind of significant to the whole of the Bible. So there is that aspect. But yeah, I would say that the whole refusing to disappear and refusing to assimilate and being continuously stubborn in their survival and their success, I think, is something that just makes people kind of mad. And I can't deny, I said this before, but when we went to Israel, I did feel like there is more to this, man. It seems a little bit more than just nature at play here, because I really loved how Jews are in Israel. I really loved how Israelis are. I'm still fascinated with how awesome those people are and how much hate they get despite all of that, which also makes me want to support them.
I'll add a few things. One, not assimilating is actually built into it. It's all over the Old Testament, right? And back then it was, here are all these things that are meant to keep you a distinct people from intermingling with the pagans, right? Because that's going to destroy you. That's actually going to destroy you. And it's what's interesting, whether you agree or disagree, or whether you think God is actually behind this or anything, actually worked. I mean, think about all the groups that are around there, right? The Moabites, the Ammonites, the Edomites. Where are all these groups? Where are all these groups? Well, they all got conquered by the same group, by the same empires that conquered the Jews, but they would just lose their national identity, right? They would part of the population would be deported and so on. You'd blend in and stuff like that, and you'd lose your identity as a people. The Jews, wherever they were taken, they would remain Jews, right? I mean, keep in mind, you would have some Jews who assimilate over time and stuff like that, but you would always have some that didn't. And so you would always have a group of people who maintained their national identity. And so that's why the Jews persisted as a people, but that carries on even till today. It was also an important part of the spread of the gospel, because what happened is you'd have, the Jews would be conquered by the Assyrians and the Babylonians and the Greeks and the Romans and so on. And some of these nations would deport large portions of the population and so on to other parts of the world and so on. But anyway, you ended up with Jewish communities all over the known world. You go to Cairo, there's a Jewish community. You go somewhere else, there's a Jewish community. You go over here, you go to Rome, there's a Jewish community and so on. Jewish communities all over the place. But because of the festival system in the Old Testament, if you were able to go back to Jerusalem for the Passover and stuff, if you were financially able and stuff like that to go back to Jerusalem for the Passover, you would. So what would happen is you'd have Jews from all over the known world who would gather around, who would gather at the time of Passover. And guess what? When's Jesus crucified? When's he rise from the dead? When you had Jews from all over the place in this gathered in this area. When is the church formed? When did the Holy Spirit descend on the early believers? Feast of Pentecost, when everyone's joined together. So think about this. You have Jesus is crucified and rises from the dead around the time of the Passover, where Jerusalem is packed. Then the Holy Spirit descends at Pentecost. And what happens when the early Christians start speaking in all these languages because they were filled with the Spirit? You can read this passage in Acts when the Jews who are there is like, what is this? We hear these guys speaking in our own language. We're from, and they mention all these different areas where they came from. And yet we're all hearing these guys in our own language. So there was a miracle, and everyone's hearing these guys speaking in their own language. And then Peter gives a sermon. You end up with 3,000 converts right there. And some of them stay. In other words, they're from different areas, but some of them stay. This was the reason in the early church for people selling property and so on, giving to the church. They were supporting this group of early believers who weren't at home anymore. They didn't have houses. They lived hundreds or thousands of miles away, right? And so they stay there. Learning at the feet of the disciples. And so they spend a couple of years learning at the feet of the disciples, these people from all over the place. And then what happens? A persecution breaks out, and it says, and they all went to their homes, right? So all these people who spent a couple of years learning at the feet of the disciples, who had gathered there just because they're attending a feast, they convert, they stay there. Christians who are wealthy sell their stuff, sell their property to fund these people so they can learn, and they're discipled for a couple of years. Then a persecution breaks out. Wait, you can't stay here. They go back to their home cities. Now they're going back to Cairo and all these other places. And so you have Christians who learn directly from the apostles themselves, now preaching in all the main cities of the known world. That's why Christianity couldn't be wiped out. That's why even when the Roman Empire tried to crack down on Christianity, it couldn't. It spread too far, too fast. And so, but it's interesting. It's all tied. That's all tied together. That's all tied together with Jews refusing to assimilate to the populations and stuff of the surrounding populations. But that's also something that lots of people don't like, right? Hey, there's this one group over here, and they refuse to be like the rest of us. And as AP is pointing out, if you're also simultaneously successful, and if you're successful and you don't assimilate, then whenever you need someone to blame for something, guess who you point at? That's who you point at. And historically, just something's going wrong. That's the reason right there. So they get blamed for various things. Yeah.
What is the Jewish version of Tradcaths and Orthobros? Now, first off, I wouldn't equate Tradcaths to Orthobros, considering that Orthobros are rather an online meme, whereas Tradcaths are actually a serious section or faction of Catholics that are traditionalist or go against the developments of the Vatican and all that. But without taking it too seriously, I would say that there are some Jewish sects and groups that are this kind of anti-Zionist Jewish and very, very secluded and also anti-outsider. I would say that they fit the whole thing a little bit more. Powerfully powerful. Watch how it turns out, said Hazrat Muhammad. Musk needs distance from Trump to save Tesla. Don't discount it. Is all an act. I don't know. Merchant wrecker, but that's a very good trait, isn't it? Indeed it is. Indeed. There is also the thing, you could also say that that it is kind of a part of a divine plan, right? No matter how you see it. I mean, it is actually from the Jewish perspective, but you could even consider it from the Christian perspective, that it is kind of meant to be that way, that there is a kind of global hate or persecution toward the Jews for a reason, and that this is just part of God's plan, for example, until things get good. Lothar, what is the Jewish... Austin, best part of God Logic's video is watching Elise as he bump his head with the microphone.
Yeah.
What do you think he was thinking in his head?
That was actually funny, and that was when I think that was when God Logic goes, "What shape is this?" You go, "A square." You go, and what's this inside the square? "A triangle, yeah." And God Logic goes, "Is this a contradiction?" And Ali just stands there and he bops himself with the mic.
It is so dumb, man. He just doesn't get. He doesn't understand. He makes a stupid point, a ridiculous point. He's pointed out that the point is invalid. It is ridiculous, and it is easily explained away. I wish I had a square and a triangle here somewhere, but it's basically like this. So make the point.
Ali Dawa's point?
Yeah.
So, when you can see that you, as a Christian, believe that Jesus is God and man, you believe in two things that are a contradiction. It's like saying that there is a square triangle, yeah? A square has 4 sides. How many sides does a triangle have? 3. So a square cannot be a triangle, see?
Yeah, I know, but they can be, combined next to each other, together. That's it. United.
No, my argument is
I see what your argument is, but
no, my argument is he kept doing that for 40 minutes, like 40 minutes straight one night, and then like 40 minutes the next
this
day.
is literally how it goes, man.
Yeah.
We know your argument. We have all heard your freaking argument.
Yes, we heard your argument and we reject it because
the argument
it's stupid.
is dumb.
And because you don't understand basic philosophical terminology.
No, my argument is...
Guys, watch it. That's exactly what he does. God Logic will destroy his argument. And then Ali Dawa will repeat his argument. And then God Logic will destroy it, but in a different way. And then Ali Dawa will repeat the argument. And then God Logic will destroy it another way.
No, my argument is... Look, my argument is...
And guys, it was just like classic, one of the greatest moments in the history of Christian-Muslim debate, when Ali Dawa brings a visual aid, these little shapes and stuff, to try and illustrate his point, and God Logic uses what Ali Dawa brought him to make it even clearer why his argument is stupid. And it was just amazing.
He probably still doesn't get
legend status.
Probably still don't get it. Merchant book recommendation, please. Book recommendation for what? For what? Sorry, for what exactly? David, what do you recommend from all the books that you see here? What do you recommend?
I don't know about the books here. I don't know what books you got. Yeah, we don't know if you mean fiction, nonfiction. And if you wanted just a book, a awesome book, Till We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis. I mean, zero clue why no one has made it into a movie. My favorite like fiction book of all time. I'm not even big on fiction, but awesome story, awesome writing.
Nobody cares about fiction.
Makes a brilliant point, phenomenal ending. It would be up there with like with the Lord of the Rings trilogy if someone made it a movie. I cannot figure out why no one's made it.
Nobody cares about fiction. I would recommend this book, phenomenal book, the Merriam-Webster Thesaurus, phenomenal book.
You know what's funny?
What?
This is when I was in the mental hospital the first time.
Yeah.
My family said, "Hey, you want us to bring anything?" I said, "Yeah, bring me a thesaurus," right? No, wait, no, what? No, no, that wasn't. It wasn't a thesaurus. No, it was. Oh, never mind. It was an almanac. I said, bring me an almanac. And I just sat there all day reading an almanac. And anyway, I wasn't trying to be weird, but apparently that was weird. That was all I wanted to read when I was in the mental hospital was an almanac. And apparently they thought that was weird. I don't know why.
I got this specifically a while ago because
that would have been funnier though if I just spent all day reading a thesaurus.
I wanted to make a joke about Muhammad Tajab. That's why I got this here.
Oh yeah. You got to have that
because it seems like he's just going through it to pick different words for the very same thing and then repeating those.
That's what he does, and it's really impressive to his fans. Like Ali Dawa, look, I got shapes. I got this. This is for a 3-year-old, yeah. But that's all we can understand in Dawa.
Ari wasn't Nika Zuta, man, bring it on. Rachel Litchevich says, ask him, did he like the Akon song Locked Up? That was a jam back in the day.
Don't remember it.
You don't remember that?
No.
Locked up, won't let me
out. Holy Joe, could you link that Augustine quote? Would love to dive deeper into it. I actually referenced it in the debate with Andrew Wilson, but I can find it for you right now. In fact, I think it is on that little website page that I created, which is, let me see.
But you're not going to do it. Why? Because you're chicken-hearted, craven, dastardly, lily-livered, yeah, pusillanimous weasels, spineless, unheroic, yellow, diffident, faint-hearted, fearful, timid, timorous, afraid, frightened, scared, careful, cautious, wary, bashful, coy, shy, feeble, soft, weak. How you feel? How you feel? This proves that Islam is true.
So I wonder if it was in this part, but let me see. I'm gonna just look at it as I share the screen. Sermon 72 in the New Testament by Augustine. I think it was part of this, but it must also be in one of his books. But he's talking about the salvation for the Jews will definitely come, but also I don't know if it was this one, man. I referenced one of the quotes here. So the time will come, the end of the world will come, and all Israel shall believe, not they who now are, but their children who shall then be. Okay, I didn't include it here. I have to look that up and get back to you on that. But basically, if you search for Augustine's quote on Jews being a sign from God to behold, or something like that, you should get that. Augustine, Jews, sign from God, existence. I'm just gonna look for random keywords now and see if I find it quickly. Slay them not, the New Republic. On the morals of the Manichaeans. Paul and the Augustine Church Fathers. Okay, so there's one New Republic article which goes into this as well. So I just basically so here's a very simple thing. I will show you literally what I just did. But if you want to quickly look it up and not wait for me looking it up, I literally just Googled these keywords: Augustine, Jews, sign from God, existence, not slaughter. Very easy. And it seems to already bring up certain articles that address his views on that. The AI might also give you direct links to his writings on that kind of stuff, but this should give you something. So yeah, I need to find the proper quote of that. Heat Blair, what's up? Good to see you here. Thank you for helping my friend get TEFL in AP. I need to actually get with you on that again. I'll put a reminder to get in touch with you on that. I want to help. Ari Wasserman, Chris Hansen, you must really want to become President Homecoming Queen since you asked her. You have a picture of his boobas you can send me. Liam Scott, Raja Mia is a whistleblower on grooming gangs. Amazing story. And do to think the House of Debate backlash will lead to Piers Morgan's downfall? I'm not sure. We have to still look at that.
We haven't even seen it.
We have to see that conversation. I saw bits and pieces of it. I saw clips of Natasha Hausdorff trying to respond, and Pierce just cutting her off and not responding. And then I saw him insult her on Twitter afterwards, and so on. And then people started going after Pierce Morgan. He started blocking everyone and insulting people. It's just a giant freaking baby. But I need to go through that whole conversation again. I haven't been able to watch it yet. Maybe we should just.
We could watch it live.
We could do that.
What to see?
Beast, says David Wood. You agree 5th, 6th century Christians ended Greek philosophy?
No. Keep in mind, Greek philosophy was never. I mean, it wasn't like it's huge. It wasn't huge in terms of like lots of people look with suspicion upon philosophers and so on. But no. So as far as Plato, Christians were always familiar with Plato. Plato's philosophy was used quite frequently for many centuries. They lost contact with Aristotle, but then when Aristotle was kind of reintroduced, Aristotle was never as nearly as popular as Plato. But once Aristotle was reintroduced to Europe, they started rolling. They rolled with they loved that stuff. So. Yeah, no. I guess what you could say is, as Christianity spread, the emphasis became on Christianity and not on philosophy, and therefore, so. But I don't know what you could say beyond that.
I'm trying to remember that quote. Ida Rogozin, but Ali brought a triangle, so you see, he brought the Trinity. He's so embarrassing, man. Merchant Record, I meant on history of Jews. Oh yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
You're sitting there going off on some tangent. This wasn't even what someone was talking about.
On history of Jews, there's actually a book called The History of the Jews. If you want it to be that easy. Arabs and Jews in Ottoman Palestine is a very good one, which I got and went through. Pretty nice. It explains a very important historical context in that region. Ottomans in Syria is a very good one. Once again, in the same context. But honestly, I have a few here that I have somewhere on my online list. But honestly, some of the lectures that you can get on the history of the Jews will be very, very useful. Solomon Lund. I got a 3D printer. What should I print?
That old Zoot coin.
That's true. Rachel Vechevich, McDonald's money. Congratulations, brother AP, on your baptism. Can't wait to see what David gathers. He's gonna like the Orthodox. You just wait. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. He's gonna see the Orthodox liturgy and the baptism. And then he'd be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Whoa. Yeah. Anyway, David, anything else? We shall go live tomorrow again, you think?
Yep. Yeah, we'll go live on a real channel tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. And then we shall go live again on Saturday. And then we shall go live again on Sunday.
No, I'll be flying, sadly.
I don't care if you're flying. We shall go live. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining this live stream. And we shall record a bunch of stuff together. And I will keep everybody updated on the whole baptism and stuff. David Kazashi, when are you getting baptized? AP, this weekend. This weekend. Literally this weekend.
Don't worry, everyone. I will be there with my iPhone recording it all.
He'll be recording it all. So he'll be there recording it all, and it's going to be happening. And then I will officially call myself an actual Orthodox Christian.
Zitcoin to the moon.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining. As always, have a fantastic day. And I can't find my goat right now. Good question. Where is that? I don't know. Can't find my goat right now. Oh, it's probably down there behind you somewhere. This is very important, David. There's a bunch of objects down there. They're probably goats.
Hey, here's that gold coin.
Yeah. So, thanks everybody for joining. And as always, wait, I think I have to deactivate my thing here for a sec. As always, which roughly translates to the following.
Stay away from Islam.